Good morning, everybody. This is not clickbait, and this is not childish drama. To respond to something I just saw in the live chat. This is not a video I expected to be doing today, but I have to be honest with you. I knew I would be doing this video eventually, because the ugly truth of the matter is that over the last 12 months, every time I have attempted to end my relationship with Jenna Miscavige, she has forced me to continue the relationship by threatening to harm herself, or, to use her own words, ruin my life until I want to harm myself. And I have hoped desperately that someday, some way, there would be a world in which we could part ways in terms of a romantic relationship, but continue to coexist as two people who have strong desires and motives and intentions to focus on exposing the fraud and abuse of Scientology and helping people leave Scientology and helping to prevent people from joining Scientology and trying to just be as effective as possible, being Scientology's worst nightmare. I'm going to be drinking a lot of water because my mouth is very, very dry. What nobody knows, except for my close friends, is that when I went to jail on November, I think it was 13th, Jenna and I had already broken up 2 or 3 days earlier. Why had we broken up 2 or 3 days earlier? Well, we break up about once a month, and it has to do with the constant, never-ending, non-stop fighting that occurs in this relationship. It never stops, it never resolves. Well, obviously it eventually resolves, but only to resume again shortly later. What has happened on several occasions when Jenna is here in Clearwater, something will set her off, she'll be mad about something, we'll try to resolve it, it doesn't resolve, it escalates, it escalates, it escalates. Jenna gets mad, and she starts trying to destroy and break things in my house and make a mess out of my kitchen. If the day I went to jail was Thursday, November 13th with him, which I'm pretty sure it is, the Monday just prior to that Thursday, Jenna was here. She was supposed to fly home the next day on Tuesday. Jenna and I had a mild disagreement, argument, upset that day that just went on the entire damn day. And by the end of the day, I said, look, I can't do this anymore. I'm done. I'm done. I'm absolutely done. I was sitting here in the studio when I said it. She was standing right here. She stormed off. I've got another guest bedroom that she stays in when she's upset. She went over into the bedroom. She walked out into the living room area. The next thing I hear crashing and banging and all sorts of noise in the kitchen. I go out there. Jenna has taken a giant Costco pumpkin pie and body slammed it on the kitchen floor. She's taken a giant watermelon and cracked it open on the kitchen floor. She's poured water and drinks all over the kitchen floor. This is not the first time she's done things like this. And in many of these incidences, Jenna gets physically abusive with me. She hits me, she scratches me, she throws things at me. On that Monday, whatever that Monday was before the Thursday I went to jail. I went out there in the kitchen and I said, you've got to stop. And she says, I'm not going to stop. You can make me stop. As anyone else would do, I grabbed her arms, I held her, and I said, you've got to leave the house or I'm going to call the police. She said, go ahead and call the police. I said, okay, I will, but you're going to leave the house. She said, let me get my phone, let me get my phone, let me get my phone. I said, yeah, go ahead and get your phone. And then she left the house and sat on the front porch of my house. Now, I didn't want her to think that I had locked her out of the house, so the door was not only unlocked, it was actually open. By the way, you guys still might remember, or you guys still might be wondering, why are you telling us about all this? Because of what happened this morning. And because Jenna is threatening to get me arrested and thrown in jail, which is also what she was threatening to do while I was in jail. And honestly, I need to rip this Band-Aid off. I need to rip this Band-Aid off. I have no personal desire for anyone in the world to know anything about my private relationships with Jenna or anything at all. But Jenna has used it as a manipulation, control mechanism, a threat. And by the way, every one of my friends who are close to me will vouch for everything I have to say in this video. Everything. The physical abuse, the threats, the manipulation, the violence, everything. Jenna left the house that Monday. By the way, I've got Marilyn helping me in the back. I haven't looked at the starred comments yet, Marilyn. But, just a little, this is not in reaction to anything that you starred, because I haven't seen any starred comments. Comments that are just taking my side or whatever, don't worry about it. The comments that I'm going to be interested in taking up are people who are asking questions about actually very relevant, vital pieces of the story that I might have omitted, because I've hardly made any notes over here. I'm going to be going out of sequence, jumping back and forth in time, but trying not to. So any questions, and because Marilyn's one of the people in my life who knows everything. And if anyone's ever wondered why the core group of friends that I have around me have stayed so close with me and stayed with me through anything and everything, is because these are the friends who know, no matter what's being said by who, where, when, they can call me anytime and be like, okay, motherfucker, give me the straight truth. What's going on? And I will give all the information, and they can decide whether I'm being honest with them. And that's the nature of these close relationships that I have, and that's why they are so strong, and that's why they are so lasting. And I don't tend to want to have that same relationship with my entire viewing audience, but I feel like I'm being put in a situation where, for my own safety, and because Jenna is determined to destroy my reputation and income on the internet until I want to harm myself. You guys know me. I ain't taking that shit. Okay? I never wanted to talk about any of this. And this morning, I've been given no choice, and I will get there, I promise. Okay, so on Monday, by the way, this was a Monday after we already had an amazing, from what I can recall, an otherwise amazing drama-free visit, which is rare. We usually have at least 1 or 3 major fights every time that she's here. And Jen is here every other weekend from Thursday to Tuesday. Every other weekend from Thursday to Tuesday, Jen is here. We take turns paying for the flights. We used to fly back and forth, take turns flying back and forth. I told her I just couldn't do it anymore. We basically mutually agreed that she would be the one flying. We would take turns paying for it. Okay. She leaves the house. She leaves the house without a jacket and without shoes. It's like 45 degrees outside. I have no idea where she is. I'm texting her. I'm worried about her. I'm like, look, I don't know. You got to come back. I spent a lot of time talking to some of my close friends about what was going on, what I was worried about. Could they try to call her? Could they try to tell her to come back? Drove around the neighborhood looking for her. I'm going to see this question. I'm going to star this one right here. Super Weekend Warrior says, why did you stay? I'm going to tell you. That's a very, very good question. Let me write it down here. Why did I stay? Turns out she was just hiding on the side of my house the entire time, listening to my phone conversations and waiting for the, because I guess she thought the police were gonna show up. She came back that night. She said, do you mind if I stay here? I'll go to the airport tomorrow. I said, of course you can stay here. She lay down in bed in the guest room. And then eventually she came in and said, can you come in and lay down with me and comfort me and everything like that. Okay. We broke up. She flew home the next day, went to the airport. She still wanted me to reassure her that we would continue to be in the relationship. I said, I'm not going to do that. And I said, guys, Jenna, here's the actual problem. And I said, and you may not know this, because I realize I'm only the second person you've ever had a relationship with in your entire life. But it's totally normal and natural in relationships for people to argue and that frickin', say bad things, they don't, things they regret, and then they get back together. Or people to break up and get back together. I said, the problem is that when we break up, you never let me get to the point where I want to get back together, okay? You force us back together with threats of harm. And then we end up back together. And then eventually the good times are back. And you guys know me, I'm a relatively positive, optimistic guy. If the times are good, I don't care about the past bad times. And I said, the truth is, Jenna, if you ever just, whenever we broke up, let me get to the point where I actually wanted to get back together, we would always get back together. Our shared history, our strong love for each other, over time, we would forget what we were so upset about. I would forget what I was so upset about, and we'd get back together. But that's never how it's happened. And I said, and the truth is, the problem is that the relationship has become built upon a foundation of toxicity, threats, harm, and abuse. And so it's got a very shaky, destructive, toxic foundation. And it seems to be why things go from good or even really good to worse or worse than ever in like 5 or 10 minutes. And then we spend the next 3 or 4 days endlessly arguing about it on the phone. Jenna has, I want to use the word condition, but it's not fair because it sounds like I'm diagnosing. When Jenna is in her best frame of mind, she will freely admit that due to her childhood of cult abuse and abandonment, never having lived in a home with her parents or her family before, she has a fear of abandonment. And those are not just like casual words. She has a pathological fear of abandonment that causes her to process and filter almost literally everything, especially in the context of a relationship, as having a subtext of not really being loved, not really being wanted, and being just about to be abandoned. And so Jenna will go from loving to trying to destroy in minutes and over nothing. I know you guys think, Aaron, you're just minimizing. I am not, okay? Now, before I forget, and before anyone thinks I'm trying to do revisionist history, there was a series of videos Jenna posted about me on her channel back in January about me cheating on her. I don't want anyone to think that I'm referring to cheating as nothing. But I never responded to those videos because what was represented in those videos was not the full and accurate truth. And the very allegation that I was just out cheating on Jenna is simply not true. Now, of course, there's aspects to it that are true, and I'm actually even gonna get into it in this video today for the first time, because why the fuck not? I don't want anyone to think that when I say she gets upset over nothing, I'm referring to something like what she said in her videos in January, because that's not what I'm referring to at all. I'm referring to everything since then, because everything since then, as far as me in this relationship, has been totally legit and on the up and up, okay? And so she has a pathological fear of abandonment. One of the ways this fear rears its head in this relationship is, and guys, I know you think I'm gonna be exaggerating. I promise you I'm not. Jenna won't end a phone call. Man, I go, come on, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Guys, even when Jen is in a good mood with me, not triggered, not upset, not arguing, not unhappy, she won't end a phone call. Ending a phone call triggers her fear of abandonment. So she has said I have to be the one to end phone calls. We're gonna get back to that because I forget the specific point that I was making, other than the fact that her inability to end a phone call has been some of the, one of the common threads in all of our arguments. Because she wants me to be the one to end the phone call, but if I sound too eager to end the phone call, then it triggers her, why don't you love me and want to talk to me? And I'm like, well, we did talk for 3 hours, but it's 2 o'clock in the morning and I have to go to sleep. And this is normal. It's okay. I love you. I'll still be here tomorrow. You know, and she'll say, well, listen, if you could just say, I love you and I will still be here tomorrow, that would help me not spin out of control when you try to end the phone call. I'm like, okay. I think I remember why I was mentioning the phone call thing. Even though we broke up on that Monday, when we break up, Jenna loses emotional control of herself. And even if I don't want to be in a relationship with Jenna, I do very much love her. And I would never want anything to happen to her for any reason, but especially if it was because of me. And so, in all of the many times that we have broken up, she will say, can we talk? And I'll say, well, yeah, we can talk, but I'm not going to argue. And she goes, okay, but it's not all my fault. And I'll be like, I don't care whose fault it is. It could be all my fault for all I care. I'm not going to fight. You seem to love to fight, and I'm just not gonna do it. And eventually, you know, I'll succeed in staying off of the phone for a number of hours until at, 12, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, she'll say, please, 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 I'm begging you. I need you, I am not well. I'm afraid of what I might do. Please, even if you just get on the phone and say nothing, please get on the phone with me. And so then, or some version of that. And, Jenna's got kids. Jenna's got kids. I care about Jenna. I love Jenna. Jenna's an important person to me and to a lot of people. And I'm not going to abandon someone who's asking for my help in that way. Even though Jenna says I abandon her all the time, every time I refuse to continue fighting and hang up the phone. That's Jenna's definition of abandonment, by the way. Saying, we've already been fighting for 4 hours and I'm not gonna do it anymore. If you're not gonna get off the phone, I'm gonna have no choice but to hang up on you, and then I hang up the phone. That's abandonment. By the way, that's abandonment. That's also Jenna's definition of abuse. Jenna says I abuse her by refusing to talk to her. She also says I refuse to talk to her even if we've already spent 6 hours talking, okay? Even when I have said to Jenna, many, many fights, even when I've said to Jenna, Jenna, the truth is, the only reason we're still together is because you threatened to hurt yourself or make me want to hurt myself when we break up. And she goes, well, then why do you even stay with me then? And I go, because I want the good times. When the times are good, they're really good. I've actually never had a connection with anyone like I've had with Jenna before. I've never been able to talk with someone the way I've able to talk with Jenna. I've never had anyone be as supportive of me as Jenna has been in the times when she's being supportive. But I've also never had anyone try to hurt me and insult me and degrade me and harm me and try to turn my friends against me and say how much they hate me. I mean, Jenna will go from saying, I love you, the greatest thing that ever happened to me, I want to be with you forever, I can't imagine living without you, to being like, You're an abusive, narcissistic, lying, cheating sociopath who've just been using me this entire time, and I'm gonna tell the world what you've done. She can go from one to the other in 10 fucking minutes. And, you know, I tend to be super analytical and not very emotional. And I'll be like, Jenna, just listen to yourself. If everything you're saying about me is what you really believe, you should not be in a relationship with me. And it just seems like you only ever say these things when I tell you I don't want to be in a relationship with you anymore. And then she'll be like, well, I've just been covering for you. And, you know, Jen is constantly telling me that the only reason anyone ever supports me at all is because of her. That she's been covering for me. Everyone will believe me. This is like, honestly, she said this within the first 2 months of our relationship. People will believe me. This is what she said. People will believe me. I'm like, what does that mean? In other words, I'm going to tell everyone what you're really like, and they'll believe me because I'm Jenna Miscavige. So I guess I'm kind of jumping ahead to answer the question, why did I stay in the relationship? There's 2 reasons, and I'll leave it to a therapist to decide which one is the most real, most true, most important overriding reason. 1, I can hear the police knocking at my door, by the way. I'm not going to end this video. I'm not going to be answering the door. I very much value what this relationship is like, has been like, when it is good. I have chosen time and time again to believe that eventually and over time, as Jenna becomes more secure in the relationship itself, and that her fear of abandonment gets less and less and less, which is probably the mistake in thinking that something like that can get less and less over time, especially without, professional help. That as she gets more secure in the relationship, and as her fear of abandonment gets less and less, and so therefore less things in the relationship trigger that animalistic rage, that things will get better. That is what I like to tell myself is the main reason I've stayed in this relationship. There's also the fact that Jenna has made it very clear to me, or at least Jenna's words and actions have made me very firmly believe that it was never going to be possible for me to get out of the relationship without Jenna trying to publicly destroy me in a way that would make it impossible for me to continue to even support myself and my daughters on YouTube. And that, I mean, that's a pretty major thing to have hanging over my head in a relationship, okay? And, okay, I have to write down another thing I want to not forget about. Multiple. Okay. Now, Jenna comes up with her own reason why I've stayed in the relationship. It's not because I actually want a loving, happy, healthy relationship and I'm hopeful that one day this will become that. It's not that Jenna's threatened to destroy me publicly if I don't stay with her. Jenna has decided over and over again, the real reason I stay in the relationship is because I'm using her. I'm using her to massage and improve my image, and that my credibility and support in my community, the ex-Scientology community and also the YouTube community, is only because of her, and I use her for that, and that's why I stay in the relationship. And I never really loved her at all. I've just been tricking her the whole time. Now, guys, I have broken up with Jenna so many times I can't even count. And sometimes Jenna will get upset and she'll break up with me. But you know what I've never done once in 2 years? This relationship has been going on for just about 2 years. I see people asking, where does Jenna live? Jenna lives in San Diego. Okay, she could end this relationship anytime she wants by just not flying out here anymore. Oh shit, I just lost my train of thought. Damn it. The one thing I've never done in 2 years of this relationship is ever even once ask to get back together with her. not once. Anytime I've broken up with her, I have never gone back and said, sweetie, I'm really sorry for everything I said or did. Can we please get back together? I love you so much. Nope. Anytime Jenna has broken up with me, I've felt a wave of relief wash over me. So I was like, oh, thank God. She can't blame me for this. Thank God. And then just give it some time. Give it time. Eventually, hey, can we talk? Can we talk? Can we talk? And I'm like, nope, I'm not doing that again, Jenna. That's how you trick me in getting on the phone, and then you refuse to end the conversation. And then if I end the conversation, you threaten to destroy my life, and I'm not doing it anymore. And then the cycle will repeat. Please, I'm begging you, I promise I won't argue. I mean, it'll get really bad. Like, please, 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 I'll be good. I promise I'll be good. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I'm like this, and I'm trying to do better. And there's something wrong with me, and I don't know what it is, but please, I need you right now, and I need you right now so bad. Please, I'm afraid of what I'll do. Please, just get on the phone with me. And eventually I'm like, of course I'm gonna get on the phone. Of course I'm gonna get on the phone with her after that. I'm not going to be fucking responsible for someone I love very much harming themselves, God forbid, taking their own life, just because I wouldn't get on the phone with them. I'm not a fucking monster. And yet, the cycle repeats, and it repeats, and it repeats, and repeats, and it repeats. Okay. Let's fast forward a little bit to jail. Jenna and I had already broken up that Monday. And the whole process of me having to stay on the phone with her for 5 hours a day and night, even though we're broken up, that was happening again, but it was going a little better than it had gone in the past. Now, by the way, let me see my text messages and see what's going on now. And, yeah, it's okay. By the way, when I went to court, the first time, before I got thrown in jail, the first time, we had also just broken up again. The exact same scenario. Had a fight on Monday, flew home Tuesday, broken up. We had just broken up again. And we were on the phone the night before I was going to court. It was one of these endless multi-hour phone calls. I said, Jenna, I have court in the morning. I have to sleep. And here's why she doesn't let me off the phone. She can't sleep when she's upset with me and we're arguing. But us arguing means she's upset with me. I've tried to explain myself and apologize, but she's still upset. We can't get off the phone because she's upset. She can't sleep when she's upset. The rage, she says it feels like 100 rats trying to crawl out of her body through her skin. She has a physical pathological reaction tied to this fear of abandonment. And being on the phone and fighting does not trigger her fear of abandonment. Being off the phone triggers her fear of abandonment. And I said, I have to go to sleep. I have to go to sleep. And she goes, you know what this does to me. You're doing this to me on purpose. This is abuse. This is abuse. You know this is driving me crazy and you're doing it anyway. And I'm like, I have to sleep, Jenna. I have to sleep. I said, we can get off the phone amicably, or I'm gonna have to hang up the phone. I have to sleep. And of course, it's just rah, 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 rah. I said, okay, I'm sorry. I love you very much. We'll talk tomorrow. I have to sleep. I woke up the next morning to a bunch of text messages from Jenna telling her how much she hoped I was sent to jail. Okay, that was an earlier incident, a few weeks earlier. She'd already sent me text messages the morning of court telling her how she really hoped I was sent to jail because that's what I deserved. Okay? And I was a monster and blah, 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 blah. We got together. We got back together after that argument. Okay, So the Monday before Thursday, November 13th, we break up. Our whole endless phone call, post-breakup endless phone call process was going a little better than it normally does. And once again, here we were on a Wednesday night before I had court, where there was a very real possibility I was going to jail. And here we are having an endless fight that she won't get off the phone and won't let me off the phone, even though I'd taken 3 sleeping pills. And I said, Jenna, I gotta go to sleep. I've got to go to sleep. And she goes, you better not get off the phone. I said, Jenna, I don't have a choice. I mean, I'll stay on the phone, but I'm about to fall asleep. I'm just trying to give you a heads up. My sleeping pills have kicked in. I'm falling asleep. I don't even have to hang up the phone, but I'm falling asleep, okay? And then I cannot remember if she hung up the phone or I hung up the phone. But to her credit, the next morning when I woke up, I did not have any hateful text messages from her. Oh, I see what's happening. Hey, someone block, would you block that, Marilyn? You see it, right? I'm just pulling up the strain, trying to double check. I guess I can't really tell. Okay. Marilyn, thumbs up is a block to things. Okay, hello. Okay. All right, let me check something else over here. To Jenna's credit, the next morning that I woke up, I did not have any hateful messages from her. And if I recall correctly, there was even an encouraging text message. I was like, okay, that is positive. I go to court. Oh, as I'm in court, it dawns on me. You better send all your fucking login information to some of your friends, because if this goes badly, you need people to be able to access your channel. I sent that text message with all of the login information to 4 or 5 people. But you know who I didn't send it to? I did not send it to Jenna, because we were broken up. And generally speaking, when we are broken up, she's threatening to harm me and destroy my life until I want to hurt myself. And that is not the kind of person in that kind of situation that I'm giving them access to my YouTube channel, which is how I support my family. Okay. To Jenna's credit, even though we were broken up, she stepped up to the plate. And she reached out to me on the messaging system in jail, and she didn't give me any nonsense of, there was no negativity. It was all positivity. We're here for you. We're gonna do this for, you know, we're gonna get taken care of. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing X, Y, and Z. And there was never any even mention of, oh look, I have some cuts on my wrists from this morning. I guess I haven't even told you guys what happened this morning, but we're getting there. You know, I'm just going to hide some of these people that are making, yeah. I'm sorry, you're going in timeout. We're going in timeout. Calm down. My mods are doing the best that they can. No one needs any of your negativity here, okay? Yeah. Okay. Now, Jenna and I, while I was in jail, never specifically had a conversation about whether we're back in a relationship or not. But I think reasonable people in our situation would reasonably assume that we were back together. mainly because of everything Jenna was doing. Jenna would only do that for me usually if we're in a relationship. And, we were talking for hours a day on the phone, and we were back to the I love yous, and we were back to the sweeties and everything like that. And so, I'm not even trying to be cute about this. I assumed we were back in a relationship, and she assumed we were back in a relationship. Even though we didn't have that conversation, it sort of seemed self-evident. So even though we were broken up when I went to jail, after I got to jail, we were back together. And Jenna worked her guts out to help me with content, coordination, and all sorts of stuff. And not only am I incredibly grateful and thankful to her for what she did, I don't think anyone else could have done it. I think it was only possible because of her. So I don't only thank her for her contribution, I thank her for making it possible at all. Raising the money for the attorney. Raising the money for the attorney especially. I really don't think it would have even been possible to raise those funds in that amount of time without Jenna's help. So, okay, Jenna and I spent 3 hours a day on the phone while I was in jail. I spent $600 in phone calls during the 22 days in jail. Jenna wasn't the only one I spoke to on the phone. I spoke to Marilyn, of course. I spoke to Natalie, of course. I spoke to a couple other friends, but do the math, guys. 16 cents a minute, $600, 22 days. How many hours a day of that? How many hours per day is that on the phone? That's a lot of phone time. Things came to a head on Thanksgiving Day. Heather, the mother of my children, put up a Thanksgiving post on my YouTube community page. I might have asked Heather not to do the post, but, sometimes Heather listens to me, sometimes she doesn't. Heather making that post and some other things pushed Jenna over the edge. And Jenna sent me a message in jail saying, I am sick of this shit. Either I'm gonna run the channel or Heather's gonna run the channel. I'm not gonna keep carrying on like this. I'm so sick and tired of this. That's what I woke up to on my Thanksgiving Day in jail. I then said, hey, listen, this is a monitored, recorded platform. I do not want to fight on the phone. I do not want to fight on the phone. I do not want you to send me angry, hateful messages through the messaging system. You can get away with doing this shit when I'm not in jail. But I'm in jail, and I don't want you to do that. What Jenna Miscavige wants, Jenna Miscavige gets. And when Jenna Miscavige decides she's being abandoned by me, Jenna Miscavige goes scorched earth, and nothing anyone can do or say will have any effect whatsoever. So I spent about 3 hours of my Thanksgiving in jail on the phone, fighting with Jenna, being told what a disgusting, abusive, controlling, cheating, lying piece of shit I was. That I wasn't working hard enough to come up with ideas for videos. I wasn't working hard enough to spend more time on the phone with my lawyer. I wasn't doing enough to empower Jenna to be the boss of everyone who was helping with my channel. And I just wasn't doing enough, and she was breaking her ass for my benefit, and I didn't even appreciate it. And I'm the one who should be doing all the work. Okay. No one asked you to do the work. And it's just one of these things where this is just a perfect example of what the dynamic of this relationship has been. I can't stand fighting and arguing. I always approach an argument from the perspective of there's been a miscommunication, a misunderstanding, a misassessment of intentions, and once those things are addressed and resolved, everything's good, move on. our arguments and our fights last for hours and hours and hours, because once all of those things have been done, Jenna then says, I'm still upset. And I go, well, is that upset because you don't believe the things that I'm saying as far as what I actually meant or what I actually intended, or that I love you? Are you upset? Could you feel like there's something that's been not addressed? Or are you upset because you just need time to cool off? Because that's totally okay too. You know, we can finish an argument and then we both go our separate ways. It's like we both have our own lives. I've got everything happening in Clearwater. You've got everything happening there in San Diego. It's okay to get off the phone and chill out for a few hours, and when you're in a better mood, reconvene. And she goes, that's not how it works for me. I want to stay on the phone until I figure out why I'm still upset. And I'm like, I don't think I can help you with that. Like, that sounds like a problem you have to deal with, because all it seems is like you're angry at me, and nothing I do or say or explain or apologize for makes that feel better. But now I'm getting pissed off that you're making me stay on the phone, and it's just gonna snowball. And this is what has repeated, you know, I don't know, 1 to 3 times per week, every week for the last 2 years, okay? So anyway, I spent my Thanksgiving in jail being told what a fucking ungrateful piece of shit that I was. Jenna eventually apologized and said how horrific she felt, and I've got all these messages. Do I want to make them public? No. If Jenna forces me to, I will. You know, because not only, you know, does the state and the judge and the prosecutor have full access to all of the horrifically hateful and disgusting and denigrating and insulting emails Jenna sent me while I was in jail, but I still have them as well, because I can log into the system through an internet browser. Jenna said, I'm horrifically sorry. I'm very, very sorry. I'm so sorry that I made a day that was already difficult for you, you know, even worse. I know there's nothing I can say to make this better. You have every right to be upset with me, but I'm sorry and I love you. When Jenna says something like that, as far as I'm concerned, we're good, because I move on after upsets and arguments. I know Jenna can't control herself. What I mean is, Jenna's fear of abandonment is tied to a pathological rage problem. Not an anger problem, a rage problem. A seething rage accompanied by a desire and need to destroy and harm in order to relieve the pressure and the pain that she is feeling from this fear of abandonment. This is not just, I see someone says now, who's diagnosing? I actually don't know who that's referred to, but it's not me saying that. Jenna, when she's in her best frame of mind, will say that this is her problem. She just doesn't know what to do about it. And in fact, in the message that she sent me in jail, she did say, listen, I'm gonna go see someone, I'm gonna get some medicine that I can take to help me with this. And one of the reasons I have been so forgiving or willing to forgive and forget in this relationship is because I do truly believe what she says when she explains, I can't control it. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to do these things, but it's the only way I can alleviate the physical pain that I'm feeling. And so sometimes she'll call me and say, please talk to me. Please talk to me so I don't do this thing that I want to do. And I'd be like, that sounds like blackmail. And she's like, I know it sounds like blackmail. Please take my word for it. It is not blackmail. I do not want to do these things. I can't help it. I have a pain inside of me. It drives me insane. And please, I'm begging you to get on the phone with me to help alleviate this pain so that I don't do the thing that I don't want to do. It's almost like, you know, it's almost like if you're possessed by something else that's trying to control you. When Jenna says that that's what she's experiencing, I know she's being honest. In the beginning of this relationship, I did not think she was being honest. I thought it was the most unbelievably manipulative thing you could say to a romantic partner. And yet, 2 years into the relationship, I know she's telling the truth. I know she doesn't want to hurt me. I know she doesn't want to destroy. I know she doesn't want to destroy the kitchen. I know she doesn't want to hit me or throw things at me. So so here's what happened. After the Thanksgiving argument, 2 days later, we had a minor disagreement on the phone. The whole time the whole time I was in jail and Jenna was helping do content for my channel and helping to get other people to do content for my channel, she wasn't doing her own content for her TikTok account. And almost every day, I encouraged her to please do her own content. And I said, hey, even if you're doing something on my channel, try to do something that you can clip and turn into a TikTok for your own stuff so that you're getting, both benefits from one effort. And I had encouraged her, asked her, told her almost every single day I was in there to do her own content. There's no reason for Jenna to sacrifice the money she needs to make and put into her own pocket just to help me continue to make money on my own channel. Like robbing Peter to pay Paul does not, Jenna robbing herself to help pay me doesn't help both of us in the long run, especially if we're in a relationship and we're both sharing the financial burden of, the regular long distance travel in order to keep this relationship going. That was the main reason I was encouraging her to do her own content. But there was another reason I was encouraging her to do her own content, because I knew the moment she was upset with me, she would throw it in my face that she was doing all this just for me, and I was ungrateful. Well, I didn't want that to happen. So I'm like, please do your own content, please do your own content, please do your own content. So 2 days after Thanksgiving, we're on the phone, and she is basically saying how guilty how much she needs to work on her own content and how guilty she feels about it. And I got annoyed. And I was like, of course you can do your own content. I've been telling you to do your own content every single day. Well, there's nothing to feel guilty about. And she's like, well, it sounds like you're really annoyed with me. And I said, Jenna, I am annoyed with you, Jenna. I said, I am annoyed with you. I've been telling you every single day to please do your own content. So when you act like you're sort of nervous or scared to ask for my permission, or that you would even need my permission to do your own content, it kind of feels really manipulative. I'm just being honest with you. That's why I sound annoyed. And I said, by the way, it's okay for me to sound annoyed, right? It's okay in a relation to be annoyed. Like, I can be annoyed. You can ask me what I'm annoyed about. I can explain it to you. You can be like, you're right. You have told me to do my own content. I'm sorry if it sounded like I was implying otherwise. I'd be like, okay, good. Thank you, sweetie. And we would just move on with the conversation. Nope. Nope. You see, I'm not allowed to sound annoyed or irritated in this relationship. That triggers Jenna's fear of abandonment. Okay, so 2 days after I already spent hours being told what an ungrateful piece of shit I was on my jail Thanksgiving, now a minor annoyance, irritation, upset was escalating. And I said, Jenna, I'm sorry, I can't do this right now. I'm not gonna do this. I gotta go. Click. If she had sent me a message that like, listen, you're right, let's not argue, I love you, can we get back on the phone? Like, of course we can get back on the phone. That's how this works. Instead, what happened, and this is important, Jenna's immediate response was to demand that every video she had done on my channel since I went to jail be deleted. That was her demand. No, actually, she still had access to my channel. So she actually sent me a message saying, I have privated every video that I've done on your channel, vouching for you and protecting your reputation. And if I ever, by the way, she assumed we were broken up. Did we break up on that phone call? No, we didn't break up on that phone call. I said, I can't keep having this argument right now. Click. She said, if I ever see those videos put back up on your channel, I will tell the entire world what you've done and how you've treated me. It's like, great, we're back to that again. We're back to that again. I mentioned earlier the 3 videos Jenna put up on her channel back in January about me cheating on her. Do you guys, some of you guys might remember those videos went up, and then she took them down, and then she put them back up, and then she took them down, and then she put him back up, and then she took him down. Oh, I see this comment here. I'm going to address it in a second. The reason those videos went up and down and up and down and up and down is because Jenna used those videos as leverage to get me to agree to stay in the relationship. And I would be in the relationship for a little bit, and then she would get mad at me. And when I hung up the phone on her after multiple hours, she would repost the videos again. And then when she got me back on the phone and she was satisfied that I was going to stay in a relationship with her, she would take the videos back down. And then the next time she was mad at me, she would put the videos back up, knowing that those videos cost me over 10,000 YouTube subscribers and probably reduced my monthly YouTube income by about 75%. She used those videos as a threat to destroy me, my reputation, my income, my ability to support my family. And that's why those videos went up and down and up and down and up and down. And it wasn't until maybe 6 months later that she, as a gesture of her love, said, you know what? I've deleted the videos, as opposed to privating them. So when you have a video on your channel, you can make it unlisted, you can make it private, or you can delete it. And when you delete it, it's deleted forever. So it wasn't until many months later that she's like, you know what? I'm gonna completely delete the videos. Basically, I'm giving up my leverage over you. This was her act of love and kindness to me. She was giving up her leverage over me. Now, of course, the next time she was mad at me, she told me how much she regretted deleting those videos because it just gave me license to treat her however I wanted to treat her. Now, treating her however I wanted to treat her was being an absolutely amazing, loving, supporting boyfriend who spent hours and hours and hours on the phone with her every single day, texted her first thing every single morning, responded to all of her texts in a timely manner. But sometimes I sounded a little annoyed at her, and that would lead to an argument which would last for hours, and then eventually I would hang up the phone because she refused to. That's the horrific abuse that I've subjected Jenna Miscavige to in this relationship. Hanging up the phone after hours of arguing. Okay, so those videos were gone, okay? Those videos were gone. Okay, so fast forward. She's saying, if I ever see you make those videos public again, the videos that I've been doing to support you while you're in jail, if I ever see you make those videos public again, I'm gonna repost all of the videos I did about you in January, and I'm gonna do new videos about you so everyone knows exactly how you treat me. Okay? It gets worse. Jenna calls Heather the mother of my children. Oh, by the way, someone asked, wait a second, how'd she have access to your channel? I thought you said you didn't give her access to your channel. I didn't give her access to my channel before I went to jail. But after she messaged me, she said, hey, listen, I don't have access to the channel. I need access to the channel to be able to do all these things. Can I have access to the channel? I was like, yeah, of course. And I said, of course I didn't give you access to the channel. We were broken up. But yes, now you can have access to the channel. Okay, it gets worse. Once Jenna changed the visibility settings of videos on my channel without my authorization, and then threatened to try and publicly destroy me on the internet again, I asked Heather to change the password to my YouTube channel so that Jenna could not get in. Do you guys want to have any guess what the reaction of Jenna was to finding out she'd been locked out of the YouTube channel? Jenna called Heather and threatened. Half step back. Apparently, while I was sleeping that night, Jenna, without telling me, went back in and made the videos that she had privated public again, but I did not know that, okay? So I told Heather to change the password on the channel. Heather didn't change the password on the channel until the following morning, and changing the password locked Jenna out of the channel, but the videos that she had done were now public again because Jenna made them public again. But now that Jenna no longer had the leverage of being able to make them private, she went into an animalistic rage. And she called Heather. Actually, she texted Heather. This is all documented in writing. And she said, you have 5 minutes to delete the videos that I've been doing, making money for you and your kids. And if I don't see those videos down in 5 minutes, I, Jenna Miscavige, am gonna call the Clearwater Police, and I am gonna file a domestic battery report against Aaron so that they keep him in jail for as long as possible. Jenna repeated this threat to several of my friends. Jenna then threatened my friends who were helping me do content on my channel that if they did any more videos on my channel before she got what she wanted, which was her videos deleted, she would do videos about them, exposing them for continuing to support a narcissistic, lying, cheating abuser like me. This is in writing. So Jenna Miscavige, who had just spent weeks trying to get anyone and everyone to support me as much as possible, was now not only withdrawing her own support, but trying to threaten other people to not support me and abandon me as well. Dare I say, this is not the first time Jenna Miscavige has done to me in this relationship. But I decided right there, it sure as hell was going to be the last. And my friends who have had to witness this type of behavior over the last 2 years and have had to be caught in the middle, because Jenna makes our business everyone's business. When she's not making it the internet's business, she's making it all of my friends' business. When my friends once again were subjected to bullying and threats and blackmail and harassment from Jenna, I think they also decided this is the last time they were gonna take this shit because of my toxic fucking relationship. And I decided right then and there, this was it. This was really it. We weren't going to be getting back together. Ever. Jenna did this for about a day and a half. Eventually she apologized again and asked me to put all of her videos back up again. The videos that she had done that were helpful of me. And so I asked Heather, I told Heather, okay, Jenna said it's great to put the videos back up, so I had to put the videos back up. And Jenna basically was, licking her wounds for 2 or 3 days. Like she says, look, I just feel nothing. She explained it once again, look, I just get so angry, I can't control it, I just feel his pain, and I feel like if I can hurt others, I will feel better, but it doesn't work, and all I end up feeling is a deep, deep shame, and I don't know what to do about it. And that's actually when I think that might be actually when she said, I'm gonna see someone, I'm gonna get some medicine to help me with this. And she said, I know nothing will make this better, but I love you. And I was like, I love you too.
Everything for him while he was in jail. And I just couldn't take it anymore. I apologize because I'm a good person. He never does. He always convinces me that it's my fault and that I'm a monster.
She said, do you want me to come to Clearwater? Oh, because she was scheduled to come to Clearwater on, the weekend I was, this weekend that I got out. Remember, she stays Thursdays to Tuesdays.
Aaron asked me to book a flight, which I did. Does that sound like somebody who's being forced into a relationship? Tuesdays. And my flight was non-changeable and non-refundable.
Days to Tuesdays. She said, do you want me to come to Clearwater? I said, you should not come. Now that was because her request to come to Clearwater means come to Clearwater, stay with you, we'll have the weekend together as boyfriend, girlfriend. I said, no, do not come to Clearwater. Someone's asking, did she threaten Natalie? Yeah, she threatened Natalie. I said, do not come. Do not come.
I asked Natalie not to do videos on Aaron's channel until they took down my videos. That's what I asked Natalie to do.
The next day she sent me an email I've decided to come to Clearwater anyway. I've made friends in Clearwater that I'm never going to see again. I want to have an opportunity to say goodbye to them. I will not come to court. I don't want us to say anything bad about each other, publicly or privately. And, you know, I deserve to have this closure. Other than the sentence where she said I won't come to court, it was actually a very, very, very good, nice, loving, caring, respectful message. I took issue with her saying she wasn't going to come to court. I said, Jenna, she said I can't really reschedule it. She said I can't get a refund on the ticket. I said, Jenna, you're gonna come all the way to Clearwater and not come to court?
So in other words, he wants me to not come to Clearwater for him, but he wants me to come to court. Why? So that he can look good. Because I'm gonna post the message that he sent me when I said that I'm gonna come to Clearwater to see my friends, and I will not try to see you. I will not go to court, and I will not speak badly about you.
Wait, low battery, your Mac will sleep. Oh my God, my computer's not even plugged in. Hold on. I said, you're gonna come all the way to Clearwater after all this time, after everything you've done to help me while I'm here, after all of our friends who've been caught in the middle of our relationship bullshit, all of our friends who think everything's great right now. You're gonna come, well, except for the people who were really on the inside. You're gonna come all the way to Clearwater, and you're gonna make it awkward for everyone by flying 3,000 miles on the weekend I'm getting out of jail, hopefully, and you're not gonna come to court. So the whole weekend is gonna be about, oh, why didn't Jenna come to court? Oh, you've broken up? Oh, why did you break up? It's like, why would you do that? I said, if you're not going to support me while you're here, then why don't you just come back some other time? Come back in a couple weeks. Come back in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Why make it this weekend? Why make our relationship a problem, an issue for our friend group and larger activist group? Why do that? And she was basically like,
this is what Aaron really said. If you're coming to Clearwater this weekend because you're thinking it's some kind of goodbye to your Clearwater friends, then do it in 2 weeks. It's actually really fucked up to do that the first weekend that I'm out. This is hopefully going to be my first weekend out of jail in 22 days, and you want everyone wrapped up with you, hearing about our breakup and forcing people to decide whether they're going to spend time with you or me. I couldn't think of a more destructive thing to do with our Clearwater friend group at the moment. I finally get out, and for the next several days after, I'm finally getting out of jail, and you want to fly here. He asked me to fly there. I booked my ticket, non-cancelable, non-refundable, to make it all about you and therefore us instead. Why would you do that? And then you say you're not coming to court? Why even pick this weekend to get your closure? So, then later he says, he basically says everyone is going to be there for me, waiting for me to go to get out of jail, and you're just trying to take the attention away from me. And I said, I don't fucking give a shit about being the center of attention, Aaron. That's why I said I wasn't going to go to court. I have lost people. I've lost everyone in my life over and over and over again. I had a non-changeable, non-refundable ticket, and I said, I'm going to stay somewhere else. I just want to get my stuff, and I'm going to get it when you're not there. And I'm going to stay away from you. I just want to be able to say goodbye to friends, because I've spent the last 2 years coming out there for him. When we first got together, Aaron told me he was going to get divorced, and he was going to come out to San Diego every other week. He does not do that. He never does. He isn't apologetic for it. He says that me coming out here is for me. And even though I've told them over and over again that I want him to come out to San Diego, he doesn't give a shit. And so I booked the flight to come here when he asked me to. I've made friends here. I've given up my other friends because he has made me do this. And I did it because I loved him for our relationship. And now he's trying to stop me from being able to say goodbye. I reached out to all of our friends with no drama, no nothing. And he's just twisting the facts constantly. He's such a manipulator.
You're a fucking horrible, disgusting monster. I regret apologizing to everyone. I regret telling you put the videos back up. I hate you. You deserve everything. You can stay in jail if you don't want me to be in Clearwater. Blah, 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 blah.
I did say that. I said that. You're making this all about you. I'm losing everything. I'm losing my friends. I'm losing the relationship. I just want a chance to get through this, to be able to get through this by saying goodbye to my friends. And you're complaining that all this attention isn't going to be on you after I worked for the last fucking week to the bone with no sleep, making all this money for your family, throwing away my own life, getting no sleep, dealing with everything for this man, and all he can ever think about is himself.
I did not. Oh, and then she removes herself from the messaging app so that she couldn't message me and I couldn't message her, which was fine by me. Now, this is an example of a misunderstanding between Jenna and I, and this type of misunderstanding happens all the time, and I suspected at the moment that it might have occurred. She thought I didn't want her to come to court, but that's not true. I didn't want her to come to Clearwater.
Case glass, guys. The court is in Clearwater. When someone says they don't want you to come to Clearwater, I think that also means they don't want you to come to court. And I didn't want to come to court anyways, because I didn't want to be around him.
If she came to Clearwater, I wanted her to come to court. It's like either don't come to Clearwater and don't make it weird, or come to Clearwater and show.
In other words, he wanted me to come to Clearwater so I could show that everything was fine between us, and I could once again make him look like a good guy because I'm still with him, and people trust me that he's not a lying, cheating piece of shit, because why would I be with him? And so he wanted me to go there and show face for him.
Oh, show everyone, show me that we can be out of a relationship, but still coexist in a productive, supportive, caring way.
Meanwhile, he blocked me from getting my stuff the night before. All he had to do was say, go ahead and get your stuff. And instead, he would not message me back. He told Heather to lock up the entire house. He didn't even tell me that he didn't want me to get my stuff. He never once told me that. He just did it all through Heather and used her and contributed to whatever was going on between me and Heather until we finally sorted it out after talking for an hour and a half after she learned everything that he had been putting me through. I'm gonna tell you something, guys. Aaron speaks to Heather like she's a dog. It's so uncomfortable, and he speaks to his kids the same way. And when he started getting more and more pissy with me and treating me badly, I said, I feel like you're starting to treat me how you treat Heather. And he said to me, I would never treat you how I treat Heather. I don't treat Heather bad, nothing like that, no. I would never treat you how I treat Heather. And so, he wouldn't let me get my stuff, which I wanted to get before he came out of jail, so I did not have to have contact with him. But instead, he arranged it. He was trying to force the issue so that I would have to have contact with him the next day, saying, well, Heather won't let you in, even though it was him locking the house. Heather won't let you in. I'll gather your stuff for you when I'm out of jail. Well, I had no way of knowing if he'd actually be out of jail, and I had all of my toiletries, and I just wanted to take a shower in his house. There was someone there with me who was a friend, and he could have let us get the stuff, but he was just being a controlling, manipulative piece of shit and involving everyone else in it, when all he had to do was let me get my stuff.
With each other, and with our mutual friends, who are our mutual friends. None of them should be having to pick sides, pick teams, you know? I was like, Jenna, you can come back to
What was said about
me earlier, saying that people will believe me because I'm Jenna Miscavige. I want you guys to take one look at me and look at my videos and ask yourselves if I have ever had the vibe that everyone has to believe me because I'm Jenna Miscavige. I did say everyone will believe me, but that's because I don't lie. The videos that I did at the beginning of the year, none of those were lies, and that's what I tell Aaron when we're in a fight. I walked things back on his channel and tried to see the other side of it. I knew at the time I was sabotaging my credibility, but I did it for him because I love him. And I did not say that I was lying on those videos because I never was. I could have done so much worse on those videos. So much worse. It was the best possible. And it always has been.
Water whenever you want, for whatever you want, whether we're in a relationship or not in a relationship. So basically this was the misunderstanding. When Jenna said in her message, I will not be coming to court, I took it as a fuck you, I'm coming to Clearwater but not to support you. In her mind, she was saying she wasn't coming to court because she didn't think I was.
Yes, because everything revolves around Aaron. He's the center of attention no matter what. I said I wasn't going to come to court because we weren't together, and I didn't want to be in his proximity, and I didn't want it to be awkward, and I didn't want to make a scene.
Wanted her to. That is a really big, important misunderstanding, but also very typical. In all of our arguments, we always try to figure out where the misunderstanding occurred, and it is shocking where we find the misunderstandings to occur, because they occur in the most dangerous of places. And the most dangerous place is somewhere neither one of us would have ever suspected. And it happens time and time again. Okay. Jenna sends Heather a bunch of messages about, I left some of my stuff at Aaron's house. I want to go get it. If I don't hear from, you could, if you don't want me to be in the house by myself, you can accompany me into the house. But if I don't hear from you, I'm just going to go to the house anyway. Now, you guys have to understand, at this point, Heather was beyond livid with Jenna Miscavige. Jenna didn't just threaten Heather that Jenna would do things to hurt me. Jenna said some horrifically hateful and disgusting and insulting things to Heather directly about Heather. I'm in jail.
These are all things that I said to Heather, are things that Aaron has said about Heather to me over the years. That Heather is sitting on a big pile of money and it won't be used for her family. And so he has to make all of the money in the family. So here I am raising money for their family, and she's asking me to raise the fundraising amount and do this, and I'm sitting here thinking that what Aaron is saying about her is true, that she's sitting on a big pile of money while he's slaving away, making money for the family, and I'm working my ass to make money for her family. But when I spoke to Heather for an hour and a half, I found out how untrue that was.
Heather's the one here with access to the house. I'm not the only one that needs to say Jenna can come and get her stuff. It's in Heather's hands.
That's an absolute lie. Heather is never in his house. His garage door is always unlocked. Heather told me that he told her to go lock the garage door, lock the side of the house. He never told me this. He never even told me he didn't want me to get my stuff. Not once. He was going through Heather to weaponize her against me.
And Heather was not gonna let Jenna in the house under any circumstances, was not gonna lift one finger to do anything for Jenna. And Heather said, you can sort it out with Aaron. He can get you your stuff when he's out of jail. It's got nothing to do with me. Okay? This led to an unbelievable Thursday night where Jenna arrived in town and she had one of our mutual friends take her right to my house to get her stuff, and everything was locked. The front doors were locked, the side doors were locked, the back doors were locked, the fence gate was locked, the garage was locked. Heather locked that place down like Fort Knox. Heather's not a very vindictive person. But Heather's like, no.
Guys, Aaron told Heather to do this. Heather told me. I spoke to her for an hour and a half. Aaron told Heather to do this, and he's pretending right now that he didn't. He's lying his ass off to all of you.
No, you crossed the line. You need some shampoo? Go to the fucking store and get some shampoo. You need some makeup? Go to the fucking store and get some makeup. What do you desperately need in there so bad that I have to help you with it? So I told Heather that I was not okay with Jenna being in the house by herself. But Jenna...
He never told me. He never said, I don't want you to go in my house and get my stuff. And I was always gonna go with Erica. He never told me this at all. So he purposely created conflict between all of us. If he had said, Jenna, I don't want you to go in there, I'm not comfortable with it, then I wouldn't have gone. But he wasn't answering, and he was just putting it all on Heather. And then he said, finally, at the end of the night, when I was already there, blocks away with Erica, he finally said, I'm letting you do it, but now it's Heather that won't.
Then reconnected on the messaging app and sent me some messages saying that she would go over there with a friend. She mentioned
The original message I sent to Heather was that you can package my stuff up for me if you'd like. So he's acting as if I was insisting on getting into his house when really I gave alternative solutions at every hand. And you guys, this is the man who I literally ordered a Christmas tree for to his house and asked someone to come and decorate it for him. This is what he does. This is how he responds.
She mentioned 2 possible friends. And I told Heather, it's okay with me if Jenna goes in there with one of these friends. And Heather said, nope, I'm not doing it. And I said, well, that's up to you. But I would appreciate it if you made it clear that it's not me who's refusing to let Jenna enter the house with a friend. I said, you, Heather, have every right not to do this for Jenna. But if Jenna thinks I'm the one telling her, it creates problems for me. It makes everything much, much worse. So you have every right to not want to let Jenna in, but I need you to let them know that it's you who's saying that, and you have every right to. But don't say it's me, please. I'm actually asking you to let them in. You can tell me no, you can tell them no, but please don't tell them it's me that's saying no, okay? So that's what happened for a little while. And then I received, another 5 or 6 truly hateful messages that have both how disgusting and conniving and manipulative both me and Heather are and how she will never let this go. And then eventually, Heather called Jenna and was basically like, and said some interesting things about me. Why'd you say those things?
Actually, I had apologized to Heather days before. And when I got home, me and Heather once again talked for an hour and a half, and she got to learn a lot of fun and interesting things about Aaron. Like, he told me that he was going to get a divorce and that he had been separated from Heather for years. Well, it turns out he was still sleeping in the same bed with her from the moment we were together. She learned that he was fucking Lindsay while he was with her in her house. She learned that he constantly told me that Heather's never made a meal for his kids, ever. And that she's trying to send their daughter away to Japan because she doesn't want her in the house.
And Jenna was like,
I'm in front of Aaron trashes Heather constantly, and then he's just using her for this. He's using her to make me look bad.
Other people, and I'd rather not talk about this right now, but we can, talk about it later, blah, 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 blah. And Heather went over and let Jenna and our friend in to get her stuff. And that was that. When my lawyer came to see me before going to court on Friday morning, he said to me, well, I called Jenna this morning. And I was like, uh-oh. And he was like, yeah. Jenna had...
Guys, I'm not modding anybody because I don't even know how.
Had been very helpful and instrumental in getting me connected with this lawyer. So this lawyer and Jenna talking was not unusual.
I raised all the money for the lawyer. I reached out to the lawyer. I negotiated the price. I told him about everything. I had been the one sending him evidence constantly. I was the only one who was in contact with Jerry besides Aaron. And Aaron spoke to him far less times than I did. The relationship with Aaron's lawyer was with me more than with Aaron. I wasn't just instrumental. I did everything.
And he said, look, she was crying. She was really upset. She said she wasn't coming to court. She said you didn't want her to be at court. And I said, that is the opposite of what is true. The reason I was angry is that she said she wasn't coming to court, even though she was coming to Clearwater. I said I didn't want her to come to Clearwater, but if she's gonna come to Clearwater anyway, of course I want her in court. And so he texted her right then and there, get your butt over here to the courthouse. And Jenna came to court. So Jenna came to court, but obviously I didn't get a chance to see her. I didn't get a chance to talk to her. I had to, after court, I went back to jail. It takes about 4 or 5 hours to get processed out of jail. And I got out of jail, came home, did a live stream, went over and met up with some of the people who were in town visiting at a local establishment, and we had a good time. And then I got home, I forget what time it was, sometime between 12 a.m. and 1:30 a.m. And the whole situation felt completely insane. Jen is someone who I love very much, have loved very much, spent the last 2 years of my life doing pretty much everything with her. I see Jenna's live right now, so let's, yeah, who cares? Jenna's doing a live reaction to this video. Whatever.
Whatever. I like how he says he's loved me so much, but I forced him into this relationship every time by threatening him. You guys, I have so many messages from Aaron saying, good morning, my beautiful sweetheart. You're my forever person. We're gonna get through this together. He's such a fucking monster. Ever, guys,
Jenna was never gonna let me out of this relationship without trying to, she has said, I will gladly destroy myself in order to destroy you.
all I was looking for was some accountability and a regular conversation from Aaron where he's not screaming at me. But that can't happen. All I wanted was for him to speak to me fucking kindly without gaslighting me, screaming at me, and throwing everything back in my face, and then threatening to walk out the door. That's all I wanted, so we could exist on the same platform, so that we could work together, so that we could have closure. But he twists everything.
She has said those words to me, not only to me, but to our mutual friends as well. Because when our mutual friends try to talk sense into her, it doesn't really do any good to be like, hey, don't do that to her, Aaron, that would be mean. So eventually they're like, that would destroy you. Are you kidding? Like, that would make you look terrible. That would make you look awful. It would, and she's like, oh, I don't care. I don't care, right, YouTube? I don't need to earn a living on YouTube. I could make money. I could go do something else. I could go get a job.
That's an absolute lie. I said I wouldn't look terrible because I would be telling the truth, and I don't do it lightly.
But I don't care. I don't care about my audience. I don't care about my subscribers. I don't care about the community.
Community? Aaron is a monster. This is so disgusting what he's saying right now. I don't care about the community. Did I say I could live without it? Yes, absolutely. I can live without it because I don't run my life based on what everybody else thinks about me like Aaron does. I run my life on being a good person. He only runs his life on being publicly a good person and in private being a fucking monster.
Gladly burn it all down to get Aaron what he deserves. That's what Jenna has said repeatedly in this relationship, and my friends will vouch for that. Okay, so, Friday.
His friends will vouch for anything because all they want is to be friends with him. They don't care how many times I've told them that he's abusing me as it's happening. As it's happening. All they care about is that they can get fucking clout in his chat, and that doesn't go for everybody. That's just a very select few. Others have been extremely supportive to me behind the scenes. Extremely.
Friday evening, 1:30 in the morning. I'm like, here's someone I spend so much time with. She's helped me in, the most incredible ways over the last 3 weeks. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that here we are, her by herself, staying in a strange hotel a few miles down the road. Me here by myself in my house. I know, I honestly felt it was only fair. It was only just. Vernidag, listen. Would you like to come over? Would you like to come over and lay down with me? By the way, that is exactly what I said. Did not say, would you like to come over and sleep with me or have sex? Sometimes Jenna just really needs to be soothed.
Jenna just really needs to be soothed. I asked him for nothing. I didn't text him once after court. I did not need to be soothed. He reached out to me. I had not messaged him at all whatsoever. He's fucking lying and acting as if this was caused by me and it was him. And he said a bunch of things that he's sorry what he had said to me and he misunderstood what I was saying and he really wanted me in court and could I please come lay down with him?
And I said, do you want to come over and lay down? And she's like, yeah, I do. So I went and picked her up. We brought her over here. I brought her over here. And I feel silly saying it, but I feel like if I don't say it, Jen will act like I'm hiding it. Yeah, we slept together.
After 1 minute of being there, so him pretending like that's not what he meant, it's exactly what he meant.
Okay, that's what happened. I felt like this was something I needed to do for the both of us. I felt like the most cruel thing I could do to Jenna at that time would be after everything that she's done for me in the first 2 weeks I was in jail, to be out of jail on the first night and leave her alone in a strange hotel with no transportation by herself while I'm sitting here by myself.
I was fine. I had lunch with friends earlier in the day. I was completely fine. I had plans for the next day just like I had plans for today. I did not reach out to him. He reached out to me, and he's acting as if it is this some huge fucking favor he was doing for me, when really he was just leading me on. He knew exactly what he wanted, and that's exactly what he got.
But I was also very, very, very aware that I didn't want to lead her on, okay? So I didn't say I love you. I did not tell her I love you. Usually I tell her I love you 100 times a day.
Aaron tells me he loves me even when we're broken up. So, what he did do was when he saw me, he held me for 10 minutes straight in the car. He held my hand all the way to this house. He fucked me. He had me stay there the entire night while he was snuggling me. He held my hand the next morning. He told me. We talked for hours and hours. I told him that he could drop me back off at the hotel. And then he said, oh, well, you don't really have anything to do. He seemed confused, like, oh, you're not gonna stay here? And I was like, okay, well, I figured you have stuff to do and I have people that I need to meet. And he was like, okay, well, I'll call you a bit later. And then I figured that we would be getting back together. Like, I didn't figure. He said, I'll call you later. He drove me back. He gave me a big, long hug and a kiss. And he said, I'll call you later.
I didn't say I love you when I picked her up. I didn't say I love you when I dropped her off. And that was just a little thing. I was like, don't send mixed messages. Now, of course, Jen is going to say it was all mixed messages. You knew what I thought. You knew I would think we're back together. You knew I thought everything was fine. I'd be like, you know what? I'm sick of being held responsible for what you think I would have known you would have been thinking. You know? Okay.
Guys, you tell me, if someone asked you to come over after they come out of jail, when you've gone out of your way to stay away from them, you haven't messaged them. They told you not to come to Clearwater, and they text you at 12 o'clock at night and say that they want to see you. And then when you go over to their house, they pick you up and they hold you for the longest time ever. They hold you, they have sex with you many times. They hold you all throughout the night. They talk to you for hours. They hold your hand the next day. They say that they're gonna talk to you again soon, later in the day. What would you think? What would you think?
So I dropped her off the next morning, yesterday morning at the hotel, because here's where it gets awkward. This was supposed to be her goodbye tour for all of her Clearwater friends. And I've already decided we weren't getting back together. I've also already told all of my friends who are sick and tired of this shit that we are not getting back together. And so
I also told all of our friends this. I reached out and said, me and Aaron broke up. I want to see you for one last time before I don't come back to Clearwater. And that's what I told everyone. He reached out to me. He asked me to come over, you guys.
Oh, you know, I had plans to meet up with some of my friends. She had plans to also meet up with some of our mutual friends. And it was just kind of a little awkward situation. And I said, I'll call you later. I said, I'll call you later today when everything's done. And so I ended up being out last night until about 11:30 with all of our friends. And I got home and, interesting. Let me see. You see that one? Can you delete that, Marilyn? Set here. Okay, good. Thank you. And instead of calling her, I went to bed. I fell asleep.
Guys, when I'm done with this, I'm gonna do my own video saying everything that's happened. I'm just reacting to this right now because he's blocked me in the chat and I can't literally stand him saying the most disgusting lying things about me.
When I got home last night, my daughter was here. She was playing video games. I said, all right, sweetie, I'm going to bed. Stay as late as you want. Stay up as late as you want. I went to bed. I woke up in the morning. Can you please block that one, Marilyn? I woke up in the morning to text messages from Jenna saying how once again I'd used her and abused her and thrown her out like trash. And we engaged in some back and forth texts, which if I have to make public, I will, but I'm not gonna do that right now. And then she switched back into the gear of begging me to come over and help her soothe in the hotel.
And actually, because when he came over, or when everything happened the day before, I thought that we were back together. I thought that we were sorting everything out. Why would he do that? Why would he act that way? I thought it was going in that direction, and then I realized. By the way, Aaron has done this before when we've been broken up. He's done like, well, can you come over and see me? And I said, no, I'm not gonna have sex with you unless we're together. I'm not interested in that. This has happened multiple times. He knows my boundaries on this. And he asked me to come over and acted the way he did, knowing that those are my boundaries. He's an absolute lying monster who's trying to act like I'm a fucking stalker. And he's the one who asked me to come over. And yes, I asked him to come over this morning because I was really, really upset. And all he had to do was be nice to me. But instead, he just fucking yelled at me.
And actually, I will read you those texts, but I'm not going to screen share anything right now. Okay, I'm reading this verbatim, so you guys can see. I don't make shit up. I'm going to read this verbatim. If the time comes that I ever publish these, you'll see that what's here is exactly what I'm reading. Aaron, I cannot keep doing this. Please come here. I need you. Please, please, please do not abandon me. I need you. Please don't do this to me, Aaron. I said, Jenna, I cannot keep doing this either. She goes, please, please, I'm begging you. I thought that everything was different. I said, you're attacking me for asking you to come over on Friday, and now you're demanding that I come over. It does not work like this. And she goes, you know that I thought that, Aaron, please. I said, there's a reason I'm not answering the phone. She goes, please don't do this to me. I'm in so much fucking pain. I'm in a strange fucking hotel. I'm losing everything. I said, no, every time I hang up the phone, you say it is literally the most abusive thing I could ever do to you. She says, you know that I thought yesterday meant everything, meaning she thought we were back together. I said, no. I said, so I'm not answering. Yeah, I said, so I'm not answering the phone. She goes, please come here. Please, I need you. I said, you're not losing everything. She said, I cannot regulate myself. Please, please, please do this for me. I said, okay, I'll come over. She gives me the hotel room, the name of the hotel room. And so I go over there. So here's what happens. I calm her, I hold her, I soothe her, I cuddle her to make her feel better. We did not sleep together. That lasted for about a half hour. It's hard to measure time, but it felt like a half hour. Then she wanted to start arguing. I said, Jenna, I came here because you begged me.
By start arguing, I mean talking. He means talking about anything. Literally talking about anything. And the second I start talking and being like, I don't know why this happened, he goes, you're just trying to fight, you're just trying to argue, and then starts screaming at me and telling me I have a rage problem while screaming at me. He's done this publicly, you guys. He's done it at the beach, he's done it in bars. And he says that I have a rage problem. And you know what? You know what's crazy? I fucking believe him sometimes. I start to think, God, do I have a rage problem? I do get really angry when this happens. Maybe I need to fix myself. Maybe I need to do better. And he never wants to do better. He never wants to try. He just wants to blame me for everything.
To come here and help you regulate your emotions. I came here because I care about you. and I don't want anything to happen to you. I'm not here to argue. And I don't care who's to blame, and I don't care. I'm not gonna argue at all. Escalated. I said, Jenna, I'm gonna leave.
This entire time, he was screaming at me at the top of his lungs that I got a call from the front desk saying, is everything okay? He's acting like it was just a chill conversation. Any word that came out of my mouth, he started fucking screaming.
I'm here for you. I don't have to be here. I don't have to stay here. And I'm not gonna take the insults and the degradation and the finger pointing. That's the problem with this relationship, and I'm over it. I came here because you begged me to, but I will leave. Escalated. Then she started screaming. And then I said, okay, I'm leaving. And I got up to leave, and she stood up and she pushed me. And when she pushed me, I made a beeline right for the door. It's just a little motel room. Made a beeline right for the door. I got to the door, she was screaming like a banshee and grabbing my arm, trying to keep me from leaving. And so all I did was kind of shake my arm away from her, open that door, and I fucking ran down. It's actually a motel, not a hotel, so the door's open to the outside. I fucking ran down that second floor corridor, down those stairs, ran to my car, and drove the hell out of there. Guys, Jenna has physically abused me in Clearwater, in Minnesota, in Miami, and in Hawaii. Every one of our friends who was in Hawaii with us got to see firsthand with their own eyeballs in real life the toxic and abusive nature.
No, everybody who was in Hawaii with us heard me scream when Aaron threw me across the room. Now, I admit I poured water on him, and he picked me up and he threw me across the room. Natalie heard me scream, George heard me scream, Cheryl heard me scream. Only Cheryl and George asked me if I was okay. That's what Aaron does. They didn't see me being toxic. They saw us fighting. Yes, they saw us fighting. Me and Aaron got into a spat, and then he left the entire next day and wouldn't speak to me. Even though the next day was Mother's Day, he did the same thing again.
Of Jenna trying to control this relationship with threats of harm. All right, let me see something. Okay. Yeah. I got into my car, and now I'm gonna read you the text messages. I said to Jenna, I am not going to continue on in a situation that is only going to keep escalating. I was willing to come over and comfort you and keep you company. And she goes, the cops are on their way. I said, I'm not willing to keep fighting, and I'm not going to let you get physical with me. And she goes, the cops are on their way, and I'm gonna tell them all the times that you threw me, you restrained me, they are on their way. She says, you abused me, screamed at me, while telling me I'm angry. Sorry. Hold on, guys. Guys, let me go blow my nose real quick. I'm sorry to do this. This will take 1 minute. I'll be...
There was an incident on November 10th where I was in Aaron's house and he picked me up and he held me from behind me because I threw his pie on the floor after he was screaming at me at the top of my lungs, spitting pumpkin pie in my face. And I said, please stop talking to me like that. Please. And he said, I can talk to you however the fuck I want to. You cannot police my tone. And if you don't like it, then leave. So I picked up the pumpkin pie and threw it on the floor. I rolled a watermelon onto the floor. He wasn't even in the room when this is happening. He came into the room, picked me up, and restrained me, and held me across here for 5 to 10 minutes. I was struggling to get away. He would not let me go. Finally, he said he was gonna call the cops. I said, go ahead, call the fucking cops. I'm leaving. I went to go out the door. I got my phone, and then I left for an hour. It was the coldest night on record in Clearwater. Aaron is not allowed to touch me. He's allowed to call the cops if he thinks that he's in danger or for any reason, but he is not allowed to pick me up and restrain me. Ever. And not for 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes straight. No, he can call the cops. I'm much smaller than him. I was not hurting him in any way. I wasn't even hurting his things. It was just some food items that he had previously been spitting in my face while screaming at me.
There's someone parked in my driveway, and if any of the people watching are Marilyn, if you wouldn't mind texting Heather and asking her to come over and finding out who's in my driveway, I would appreciate it. Oh, the messages. Okay. Okay, Jenna says, you abused me, screamed at me while telling me I'm angry, hurt me over and over and over again for the last. By the way, what I was looking at earlier was I just noticed the scratch marks on my wrist from when I was trying to leave the hotel room and she was trying to keep me from leaving the motel room. I say to her, you can choose to lie to the police if you choose to. Jenna says, you're never getting away with it again. I was giving you a chance to try to explain yourself. I said, that would obviously be a mistake, lying to the police, as all of our friends have seen how physically abusive you are towards me, but what you do is your decision. Jenna says, no, you abused me over and over, and I've told everybody all along the way. Everyone knows in Hawaii that you threw me across, presumably it says, the room. I've never actually, Jenna has always said this to me, you in Hawaii, you threw me across the room. I don't know what she's talking about. I feel like she's talking about it maybe when we were in the bedroom she's throwing things at me and hitting me and I'm pushing her away from me. But but she said this to me repeatedly since Hawaii. You threw me across the room. Okay. She goes, the amount of times that you've yelled at me, publicly driven insane while I'm in the car, you've used me over and over and over again, Aaron, and you've humiliated me over and over again. Everybody here heard you screaming at me as if, in the hotel room, we had our voices raised, but...
No, he was screaming at me, and multiple people knocked on the door and asked if I was okay.
Anyway. I said, I told you that I did not want you to come to Clearwater, and you came anyway. You came to my house even though you were told not to. Jenna says, you tried to force me to get my stuff when you were there. I never came to your house, not once when you told me not to, not even once. I said, you jumped the fence and tried to get in the back door even though you were told the house was locked and you were not welcome.
He's such a liar. I didn't even touch his fence. I only ever went to his house after he messaged me and said I could go get my stuff. Erica was with me. She knows that it's true. I never once jumped his fence. I checked if his fence was open after he told me I could get my stuff. There.
And she goes, nice try, you absolute fucking liar. I never even touched your fence. I said you threatened Heather and several other friends to file a false police report against me and have me held in jail.
I didn't threaten to have a false police report filed against him. I said that I would file a police report against him if he didn't take down my videos and stop using my name, my credibility, and me saying how he is such a good person to fucking get money for himself and his family while he abuses me behind the scenes. That's what I said. And it was a real police report, and at the time when it happened, I called my friend, and I called one other person, and I've detailed this event to many other people previously, and I did not want to report Aaron because I did not want to hurt him. And at this point, I don't even care. He doesn't give a shit about hurting me. He's a complete liar, manipulating everything, so he can pay for his actions.
She goes, I went through the door that Heather opened for me, you lying piece of shit. And she goes, no, it would have been a true police report. I said, you tried to go in the back door and you found that it was locked. She goes, it was a true police report. You know exactly what you did. You're literally just making stuff up to try to get me to admit to something that I did not do. I did not do a single fucking thing. Yes, I only went to the back door when you messaged me that I could go there. Yes, you can't get to the back door without jumping the fence. So she just said she never...
I meant by the back door. I meant the fence. I never even went through the fence. I never did. I didn't go in through the back door. I went through the garage, which Heather opened for me, which Heather knows is true, which Erica knows is true. So he's just making this up. Heather would have never told him that I went to the back door.
Never touched the fence, but then admitted she did go into my backyard to try to enter the house through the back door, which isn't possible to do without jumping the fence. The fence is taller than Jenna is.
Hence, it's not possible for me to jump the fence.
Okay, I said, of course you did, and I have all of your messages to prove it. I said, me telling you that I told Heather it was okay to let you into the house is not the same thing as telling you that you can jump my locked fence and enter the house through the back door. She says, you're such a lying, abusive piece of shit. You've done this over and over and over again. So many women have said how fucking abusive you are. So many. And then she goes, I never jumped your fence. I don't even have a car. The only time I was ever at your house was with our friend, you fucking lying sack. I never said she jumped over my fence alone. She didn't have permission to show up to my house with a friend and jump the fence. Heather had permission to let Jenna in the house if Jenna showed up with a friend. Do you see how this goes? Okay, so then I say to her, this is exactly how you behave every time that I tell you I'm not willing to get back together. Just 30 minutes ago, you were begging me to stay together. And then when I told you I was not going to do so, you went into an animalistic rage like you always do. I decided we were not getting back together.
Always do. He's such a fucking liar. All I was doing was asking him to talk with me. And then he says I fly into an animalistic rage while I'm sitting there calmly, either crying or quietly, and he's fucking yelling.
She says you're a disgusting piece of shit who screams at me and tells me I have an anger problem while you spit pumpkin pie in my face. You yelled at me at the top of your lungs. Do you know the video you did the next day after you restrained me and held me down? Well, you lost your voice and it's on air for everyone to fucking see, just like I said about you months ago. Yeah, it's true. Jenna and I's non-stop, multi-5, 6, 7, 8-hour fights usually result in me screaming that I don't want to keep fighting and want to get off the phone, and it makes my voice hoarse. Although I never held Jenna down. She was destroying the kitchen. I'm worried she's going for the knives. She's small. I can easily grab her. So I grabbed her wrists while she violently tried to get away. I held her. I said, you're going outside or I'm calling the police. You're not going to keep destroying my kitchen. Jenna has, since that point, tried to argue to our friends that me keeping her, physically restraining her from continuing to destroy the kitchen is battery. And that legally, since she was only destroying my property and not my person, I wasn't allowed to restrain her. I could have only called the police and waited for the police to show up. This is the actual literal argument that Jenna has made to our mutual friends.
He just confessed, you guys. I'm gonna send this to the police. And I never touched anything besides his food items, and he wasn't even in the room. What's the timestamp on this?
For why her destroying my kitchen, not a crime. Me grabbing her and holding her so she can't keep doing it and telling her she has to go outside or I'm going to call the police, that's a crime, right? Because I asked, I was like, what is this misdemeanor report that Jenna keeps threatening to file against me? And it was that. It was me holding onto her so that she couldn't keep destroying the kitchen.
Okay. So then I said, it's not a blackmail video. He did everything that I ever said he did. And this all happened before I posted that. And he told me he was gonna go live and do a video about me. That's why I posted it.
Okay. So then I said, I said, I decided we were not getting back together because I will not keep living this way with a person who wants to destroy me every time she thinks she may be about to lose me. She goes, the only reason I haven't called the cops is because I never wanted to hurt you. That's the only reason I've ever done that. I said, you never should have come to Clearwater. She said, that is the only reason I've ever held back. That is the only reason I said that I took back what I said about you in my videos. I go, it doesn't take 5 days for you to say goodbye to 3 people. She goes, you don't own this town, Aaron. I told you I wanted to stay away from you. I told you I wanted to stay away from you. You begged me to come over. Didn't beg her to come over. Did not beg her to come over. In fact, let me scroll back to those text messages. When I got home on Friday night, after hanging out with the local friends who came to town, I initiated a text message conversation to Jenna. Here's exactly what it says. Jerry, my lawyer, fuck water. Jerry told me today that you said you thought I didn't want you to come to court. And I told him that was never the case. That was actually what upset me. That you said you were not coming to court, even though you were coming to Clearwater. She goes, I guess I assumed that if you did not want me in Clearwater, then you certainly did not want me in court. I go, I can see why you would think that, but that is not how it was. And I know you felt that your email to me, where you said you were going to come to Clearwater anyway, was very nice. And it was very nice, except for the part where you said you were not going to come to court. That is the part that upset me. I did not understand why you specifically said you were not going to come to court.
He's saying he doesn't want me around him, but he wants me to come to court. Come to court. You see, I'm chasing him, but he wants me to come to court.
It seemed like a very mean thing to say in an otherwise...
I'm chasing him, but he reaches out to me.
His nice email. Jenna says, I still don't really understand why you would not want me in Clearwater, but would want me in court. I thought I was being gracious by saying it. And I said, do you want to come over and lay down with me? I said, oh wait, I don't know where you are or if you have a car. And then I said, I suspected afterwards that maybe you thought you were saying what you thought I wanted to hear. But when I read it, it felt like you were saying it to refuse to support me in court, even though you knew that I would want you to. Anyway, I've just tried to explain myself a little more, blah, 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 blah. And she goes, yeah, I don't have a car, but could you come and get me? I said, yes, where are you? She sends me the address to the motel. And we just have some nice conversation back and forth. Does that sound like me begging her to come over? Did not beg her to come over. She could have said literally anything to me and it would have been fine. Hey, fuck you, I don't ever want to see you again. Okay, good, I totally understand. Hey, I'm gonna come over, but we're not sleeping together unless we're getting back in a relationship. And I'd be like, well, I don't want to get back in a relationship. So you can come over and, you know, I can just help calm you and soothe you, or you cannot come over, it's your call. But you see, at no point, I don't coerce Jenna. Jenna characterizes me not wanting to argue as coercing her to not be able to argue, okay? All right, I kind of lost my spot here. I'm gonna go back to, okay, here it is. Okay. Okay, she goes, that's the only reason that I ever held back. That's the only reason I said. I took back what I said in my videos. I go, it doesn't take 5 days to say goodbye to 3 people. She goes, you don't own this town. I told you I wanted to stay away from you. You begged me to come over. And then she goes, yeah, but that was the flight that I booked when I was coming to see you. Remember, it's non-changeable and non-refundable. I said, I never begged you to come over. I literally just asked you if you wanted to come over. She goes, I didn't book 5 days to say goodbye to everyone. It was because you asked me to come. See, this is what she does. She conflates it. She originally booked the flight for 5 days because, oh, Cheryl is there. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Jenna originally booked the flight for 5 days because that's normally her flight.
She goes, so this is somebody who asked me to book my flight, asked me to come to court, and asked me to go to his house. I did not contact him to go to his house at all. But I'm the one who's a psycho who's chasing him.
Right? But after that, she asked me, should I still come to Clearwater and keep my flight? And I said, no. And she decided to come anyway, so that's fine.
I decided to come anyways, and because my flight was non-changeable, non-refundable. I told him I was going to stay at a hotel, that I would get my stuff before he was even there, and that I would ask Heather to help me, that I would not come to court, And I did not until his lawyer called me and said, Aaron wants you there. I did not contact him after that at all.
I said, Jenna, we have the text messages to prove that I never begged you to come over. I literally just asked you to come over, and it also proves that how much you lie. I literally told you not to come to Clearwater. And she goes, yes, and you thanked me over and over again on air for everything I did for you. Everybody knows how you are. Everybody knows how you are, and I've put up with it so much from you. All the screaming and all the hatred and all the spitting in my face. I don't know what the spitting in my face thing is about. I said, there was no reason for you to come to Clearwater. She goes, you told me that I couldn't come and get my stuff while you were not there so that you could force me to have to get it when you were there. You are evil. I said, you came to Clearwater against my wishes, and the first thing you did was show up at my house where you were not welcome. She goes, every single person is gonna know she goes, and every single person is going to know. Every single fucking person is going to know exactly what you've been doing to me over and over and over again. I said, do whatever you want to do, Jenna. She goes, I gave you so many chances to apologize, so many fucking chances, and all you did was scream and hurt me and yell in my face and refuse to even let me speak. She says, it doesn't matter, we could talk for hours, and she says that exact same thing over and over again. I said to her, I have always known that this relationship would never end without you trying to destroy both of us. Because that's who you are, and that's how you've behaved this entire relationship. Yeah, she says a bunch of stuff I'm not willing to read on air. And I said, I am gonna take down all of the videos that you have done on my channel. And she goes, well, I'm putting all of the videos I did about you back up on my channel, including the ones that I made before and deleted. And then I'm gonna report you to the police. You've had so many chances to do the right thing and be a good person, but instead, you're a total fucking asshole. You think you can get my protection and get me to cover for you all the time, and you can just use me over and over again while you throw me across the room and batter me and restrain me. You're a fucking piece of shit, and everyone knows it. And you're a disgusting monster who likes to pretend I'm forcing you to get back together with me. You're so fucking gross. You treat people who you loved or lied about loving like dog shit. You are so evil. All I wanted was to have a conversation. Since you tricked me yesterday, since you fucking tricked me into coming over there to your house and tricked me into coming to court, also so that you could look good. You're a monster. You think that you've gotten our friend to get into my head and trick me into thinking that I'm a stalker. And you've played all your little fucking disgusting, deceptive lies. Well, I've told Dallas everything that's been happening along the way, and I've told so many people, and everyone knows how you are, Aaron. You can lie all you want to the cops, but this is totally in line with your character. You're a monster. I gave you a chance to fucking be civil and to acknowledge even the tiniest degree of the pain that you have caused, but you won't even do that. You won't even fucking apologize. I said, don't worry, Jenna. I'll be doing my own video.
Here's a message from Aaron. You are my forever person, and we're going to get through it all together. This is the person that is saying that I'm essentially his stalker. By the way, guys, he said that to me when I was actually pregnant with his child.
She goes, you do what you want, Aaron. The cops are coming now. You will not get away with your bullshit. You might be able to make a video faster than I can make a video, but all of the facts are on my side. I've told everyone along the way what you have done. I have covered for you over and over again. You're a monster, and you can never even so much as apologize. You made me think of... Wait, You made me think of your family, your kids, and that I would be hurting them. But really, it's you who's been hurting us all along. I have never asked Jenna not to do videos because of my kids, just for the record. You can't face up to anything you do. You are an abuser. I have forgiven you for...
Arthur Sickinger told me over and over again that when I did those videos back in January that I was hurting his kids, I was hurting his family.
So much. I've walked back so much just because I love you. And all you do is hurt me over and over and over again. You don't deserve my protection anymore, and you don't deserve my silence. You will never stop hurting people no matter where you go. I said there's no reason for you to ever do anything for me ever again. I'm about to go live and tell everyone what's been happening for the last 18 months. You've given me no choice, but I have to do it for...
Who's threatening who, guys? I never told him I would go live.
My own protection. I'll talk about everything that happened.
By the way, I have text messages from back in January when I did my videos of Aaron saying to me, instead of apologizing for cheating on me and lying about it repeatedly, where I had to find out on the internet, he didn't apologize for shit. He instead said, let's go to war, let's go at it, and let's see who wins.
With Lindsay and everything. She says, go ahead. I'll be right behind you once I'm done talking to the cops, and I won't stop until everybody knows everything about you. You threw me across the room in Hawaii. You battered me in your house the last time that I was there. You yelled at me at the top of your lungs over and over and over again, and all I ask is for you to stop talking to me like that. And you say, you accept it or leave. Yeah, that's never happened. I had a really long conversation with Heather the other day, and I told her everything that's been going on behind closed doors, and Heather apologized to me afterwards. This is something that Jenna does a lot. She goes to, hold on, get more. I have a close circle of friends who eventually, at some point in our relationship, when Jenna felt like she wasn't going to be able to keep herself from doing something destructive, and when she couldn't get me on the phone, she would call people in my close friend group and people who would have considered Jenna a friend as well, and made the request of her that she would make the request of them that she would make the request of me. Please, 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 please help me. I can't control myself. I'm afraid I'm going to do something that I regret, and please help me. So many of the people in my...
That's me saying Aaron is being so fucking horrible to me, and then he is hanging up on me and refusing to sort it out. I don't want to expose this, but the way that he has used me is so disgusting that it feels like the right thing to do. I don't want to hurt the cause. I don't want to hurt Aaron's family, but I need to talk to somebody about this right now because it feels like doing that, it feels like exposing him is the right thing to do, to stand up for myself, to not let him get away with this bullshit anymore. Aaron doesn't care how he behaves or how he treats people behind closed doors. He only cares about what his audience thinks. And so I have called people and said, I don't want to do this. Can you please talk with me about it? Tell me why it's wrong. Please convince me otherwise. I don't want to. And the proof that I haven't done it is that I haven't made a single video about him since January. So it's not about me threatening. It's about me having nowhere else to go and being in a relationship with somebody who's gaslighting me over and over and over, and having friends who say, yes, you should just leave, but never say anything to him that he's doing. And yes, I have left a million times. And yes, I have come back because I love him. And by the way, he has begged me to come back as well. And I can show those fucking messages as well. The point is that this is Aaron doing this before I have ever done it. Everything he's accusing me of, he's doing right now. And I have not done it. And I've done everything to try to stop that from being something that has to happen.
Friend group have personal first-hand experience of they understand, they know what it's like dealing with Jenna when she's like that. Okay? When she's like that. Now, when she's like that, you cannot appeal to reason. Okay? If it was possible, these things wouldn't occur. So, understandably, people who are my friends and love me and know the truth and support me will eventually, inevitably,
I'm gonna skip ahead since last January.
say things to Jenna that they think will calm her down. And if some of those things are agreeing or lending some support or a sympathetic ear to some of Jenna's more horrific statements about me, then so be it. Those are still my friends trying to help me by trying to talk her off of a cliff. What Jenna will then do is come to me and be like, let me tell you what all your friends really think about you. And just for the record, that shit doesn't work with me. I know what my friends really think about me, no matter what they might have to say to Jenna to calm her down a little bit, okay? So here you have Jenna trying to do the same thing with my own wife. Heather knows. Now that I've told Heather how you really are, oh, the woman I've been married to for 23 years, yeah, I'm glad you told her who I really am. She even apologized to me. Yeah, that's because Heather's a decent fucking person. And I'm sure something was said in that conversation that Heather found was acceptable to apologize for. It's the only way Heather and I were able to be married for 23 years. She's a really, 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 really good person, okay? All right, Jenna goes, you might have tricked people into being on your side, but I've documented this all along the way. And if you say one single sideways lying thing about me, I will sue you for slander. I already know what you've been spreading around, and you're not going to get away with breaking the law yet again. People will believe me because I'm telling the truth. And I'll tell them every little sick detail of what you've done.
How you treated me when I was pregnant. Yeah, Jenna was pregnant a few months ago. And Jenna does not want children, nor do I. And yeah, Jenna was pregnant. That happened.
Okay, and by the way, we were together. We never broke up during that time. So there wasn't like some weird, turmoil where, she was wanting to be on the phone with me, but I was, refusing. Like, it was a very emotionally difficult but loving and cooperative, supportive, period in our relationship. I will tell them about every little sick detail of what you've done, how you treated me when I was pregnant, when I was bleeding every day in so much pain, how you're just partying with your friends, getting high. You're a monster. Oh wait, this whole time that Jenna was going through, which I guess you'd call like whatever pill that you take that causes you to miscarry, whatever that is it called the abortion pill? When Jenna took that pill and was going through the, whether you want to call it a miscarriage or an abortion, I don't know. She wasn't here in Clearwater. She was in San Diego with her dad and her kids. So when she's like, if you thought that what she just said created the impression that she was here at home miscarrying while I was out partying with my friends, she was in San Diego. And also, I don't go out and party with my friends, as anyone who's close to me in my life knows. But she's sure gonna try to portray it that way, isn't she? She is. I responded, I said, like I said, Jenna, I always knew you would never let me get out of this relationship without you trying to destroy the both of us. I know you're gonna try as hard as you possibly can. I will protect myself at least as hard. The world did not have to know every sort of detail about our relationship and how you have forced me to stay in it, but now they will. And she goes, I gave you so many chances and you couldn't take responsibility for a single thing you ever did. Go ahead, say your lies, say what you want. The truth will come out on top and I will make sure everybody knows what it is. People know what domestic violence looks like. You think that people are gonna believe that just because I stayed with you, that you're a great guy? People know what trauma bonding is. People saw what I did in order to protect you, You can lie your little ass off just like you have been to our friends as much as you want, showing them a little clip of this year and a little clip of this here and a little clip of that there. I have all the receipts. Let me tell you guys something. I have all the receipts, not just text messages. All. Okay. I say, I know that you have given a lot of thought to how you can convince people to believe things, but it doesn't matter, Jenna. The chips will fall and land wherever they fall and land. Jenna, the last text message here is, she says, no, that's what you've been doing. Sending around little screenshots, making up this absolute lie about how I've threatened to kill myself. You're so disgusting. I have all the times when you said that I was your forever person and that you love me so much. And all of the things that prove, including last night, you asking me to come over, that as much as you want to paint me as a stalker, you won't get away with it. I have never called Jenna Miscavige a stalker. I've never accused her of stalking me. That would be weird. We've been in a relationship for 2 years, on and off, up until 3 days before I went to jail. There's been no stalking. I believe what happened is that when Jenna was speaking to one of our mutual friends, while Jenna was crashing out the night she was trying to get into the my home, without permission, our mutual friend pointed out, and by the way, she was continuing to threaten to call the police. Our mutual friend pointed out to her, Jenna, you might want to think twice about calling the police. You just flew all the way across the country and immediately went to your boyfriend's house who's in jail and are attempting to get into his house when you have a written record of him telling you not to come to Clearwater. Do you know how that will look when the police start digging into it? You shouldn't do this. That was our mutual friend trying to talk sense into her. I've never called Jenna a stalker. I've never said she was stalking me, not even that night. You can't stalk me if I'm in jail. Coming to my house while I'm in jail is not stalking me. It's just potentially problematic behavior. Anyway, there's no talking sense. There's no appealing to sense or reason or logic in times like these. Logic, sense, and reason do not dictate how these things play out. It is simply a fact that a fact which every single person in my close personal orbit will corroborate. That time and time again in this relationship, Jenna has threatened to publicly destroy me until I want to hurt myself if I do not continue in a relationship with her. Jenna has never specifically said the words to me, if you break up with me, I will kill myself. She's never said that to me. She says other things that make me concerned that that's what she is going to do. Oh, by the way, she did actually, when I went over to visit her in the motel this morning, say, you know, I'm gonna say the words that you constantly accuse me of saying, but I've never said before. She said this to me this morning while I was holding her and consoling her, laying down in bed in the motel room. She said, you make me want to die. She said that to me this morning. And so, yeah. She said this while also trying to demand that I stay in a relationship with her. And, yeah. There's no other really big gotcha here. There's no other really big reveal. And, the problems that I've discussed in this relationship are problems that reared their head in the first 2 or 3 months of the relationship. And actually, because I said I was going to talk about this, I'm going to talk about this. In January of this year, Jenna published a series of 3 videos to her channel about me cheating on her with a local woman named Lindsay. And we're just gonna call her Lindsay. I'm calling her a woman because people get upset when I use the word girl, but using the word woman feels weird, but that's what we'll use. Heather and I, my wife Heather and I, separated in late 2019. That's not news. I've spoken about that over the last couple years. I met a woman named Lindsay. For about 3 weeks, you would say that Lindsay and I did what would be called dating. Like actually going out places, actually going out to eat, going in public together. I did not know it at the time because I had never been involved with anyone who had any history of addiction. When I met Lindsay, she was in the middle of a relapse. Lindsay is someone who works in the drug rehab space. She is herself a former addict. I don't know whether she identifies mostly as an alcoholic or as a drug user. But Lindsay is an addiction recovery person. I did not know Lindsay was in the middle of a relapse at that time. I also did not know how dangerous it was to be involved with someone who is in the throes of addiction. What happened in the first 3 weeks of my relationship with Lindsay is she would demand that I come and meet up with her at certain times of the nights when it was not possible for me to. And then when I didn't do that, she would tweet about me and tag Scientology. She would tweet photos of us and tag Scientology. So it became, very much from the get-go, it became a very, an abusive relationship where she was basically saying, you have to do what I want you to do or I'm going to publicly expose that you're having these relationships outside of your marriage. So Heather and I had privately discussed, this separation, basically. But it wasn't something we I told my friends about it, but I didn't tell the world about it. We didn't tell our kids about it. We continued to live together under the same roof for a number of years. Okay. For the next 4 years, Lindsay and I were basically, I'm going to use an offensive word here, guys, because friends with benefits would not be the word. We weren't friends with benefits. We didn't hang out. We were fuck buddies for the next 4 years. That's just the way it was. It's a very convenient situation for me, and she claimed it was a very convenient situation for her. I said, this will never be more than what it is. When it gets to a point that this doesn't work for you, you let me know, we're done. And so for the next 4 or 5 years, 4 years, I had this thing going with Lindsay. Here's why I say we weren't dating. For the next 4 years, we never went out in public ever again. We didn't go out. We weren't dating. We were not boyfriend and girlfriend. We would text all the time. We would message all the time. We would even talk on the phone now and then, but we did not go out anywhere. Our relationship consisted of, hey, you want to come over? Sure. And then I'd go over, and then an hour or 2 later, I'd go home. End of story. Period. Full stop. I ended that with Lindsay shortly before I met Jenna. And things got very, 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 very bad with Jenna within the first 3 months. And I tried to break up with her many times, and she wouldn't let me. And that makes me sound like a giant pussy, and it sounds like I'm making some kind of a weird excuse. I don't care. I'm already been live for 2 hours. I'm just throwing this out here. You guys can think of it what you will. I felt trapped in a relationship and felt pathetic that I was somehow trapped in a relationship with someone who lives 3,000 miles away. And what kind of a pathetic, weird fucking pussy does that make me? And I'd already broken up with Jenna a whole bunch of times. And I was out late with a buddy, and we were drinking, and I was telling him about what was going on, and he's like, well, are you guys exclusive? And I'm like, well, I mean, I've never said that, but of course, I'm sure she, would expect that we are. And he's like, well, I mean, if you're not exclusive, you're not exclusive. And basically, in my drunken state, I convinced myself that I had every right to go and see Lindsay that night. And that was the worst fucking decision I've ever made in my life. Okay? That was the worst decision I've ever made in my life. And it wasn't right, and it was wrong, and I've apologized a million times. But I'll tell you what it wasn't. It wasn't me trying to lead Jenna on and cheat with her behind her back and have relationships with other people while pretending like everything was great here. That's not what it was. And I know it sounds like, no matter what I say, guys, this is why I've never spoken about this publicly. No matter what I say, it's gonna sound like an excuse or a minimization. And I take full responsibility for the bad decisions I made and the way that that hurt Jenna. And I've apologized a gazillion times, and I've tried to move on past that, but I've also told Jenna, I said, Jenna, you know, thank God you always have what happened with Lindsay to fall back on, don't you? Thank God you can always bring that up when you're upset with me. Because I said, look, you don't have enough experience yet to know that this is true. I said, I am an amazing fucking boyfriend. I am amazing to you, okay? And you'll never know if that's true or how that's true until you go have a relationship with someone else. And I said, and you know what? And I hope you find someone who treats you better than you think I treat you. But I tell you what, I put so much into this relationship of keeping you from being mad. Almost everything I do in this relationship is to regulate your emotion and your anger and your rage and to keep you happy. You know, even talking with you for like 3 hours a day on the phone, I would expect you to, Jenna, as my loving partner, I would expect you to go, you know what, Aaron, I know how much you hate being on the phone. And I know that you do it for me because you love me. And I know that you do it for me because you want me to be happy in this relationship. And I love the fact that you do it, even though you don't want to. No. What I get is, I think it's disgusting that you don't want to be on the phone with me and you say that it's just for me. And I go, Jenna, I'm a man. I don't need phone time. I don't need that in order to be happy and fulfilled in this relationship. And you don't give me any credit for the fact that I do it anyway, because I know how important it is to you. I'm showing you sort of the unbalanced dynamic in this relationship where I'm doing it just to have her be happy and satisfied in the relationship, but it's not good enough for her. She's angry that I don't want to do it for my own sake. That's how this relationship has been the entire time. So, here's the problem. I know Jenna cannot control herself in these situations. And so it sounds crazy for me to say I don't take this personally, because what could possibly be more personal than what we're talking about here? So obviously, it is very personal. I mean, when I say I don't take it personally, I mean, I know Jenna can't control it. She says as much when she's in a good frame of mind. But I'm the one she's gonna try to destroy to release the pressure valve of the pain, the physical pain that she experiences when she thinks of having to live her life without being in this relationship. She said as much to me when she's in a good frame of mind. And she said it to a lot of our friends. Marilyn, thumbs up or thumbs down? Do you want me to bring you on? You don't have to. You don't, no, okay, well, we're gonna skip it. We're gonna skip it. So we're gonna skip it. So many of my friends, of our mutual friends, over the last 6 to 12 months, have let me know how much they love and respect both me and Jenna. They want us to both be happy. But this non-stop cycle of abuse and control and manipulation and threats, and Jenna expecting all of my friends to turn on me every time she's upset, my friends are sick of it. And my decision to finally, once and for all, say, nope, I am not gonna keep living this way, is primarily for me, but is also for everyone who has been collateral fucking damage in one of the most unbelievably toxic and abusive relationships you can imagine. Now, I guess the argument would be, if there was serious physical abuse in this relationship, I'm sure that would be much worse, but I've never been in a relationship with that. So, for me, the cycle of abuse in this relationship, it has been one that I could never have possibly conceived. Especially conceived myself, putting up with for so long. But the truth is, I'm just gonna lay it out on the table. Let's just be real. Let's just be real. After everything that went down with Mike Rinder and the Aftermath Foundation and all that stuff, do you guys think I've been emotionally and mentally prepared to be publicly destroyed by Jenna Miscavige? No. I've done everything I could possibly think of in my power to prevent this from happening. And all of my friends know it and they've seen it firsthand. They've been there every step of the way. And I knew it would never be possible. I did know. I did know. I did know. I've been kicking this can down the road for a year and 9 months. Today's the day. I have come through way too much to continue to live in a situation where I'm being controlled with threats and fear and intimidation. And especially now that I've gone through 22 days in jail to pay the price for what for what I am doing to stand up to Scientology. You know what? You know what that taught me? I can pay any fucking price. And I am now willing to pay the price of having Jenna Miscavige use the power of her last name to, instead of trying to advocate for exposing Scientology fraud and abuse, she's now going to use the power of her last name to try and destroy the boyfriend she claims to love more than life herself, and she's been threatening to do this in this relationship at least once a month since last January. I found out I could pay the price of 22 days in jail. I can pay this price as well. Because the truth is, the truth will prevail. Jenna got that part right. The truth will prevail. I have been an amazing boyfriend. Loving.
Jen, you guys, ask Heather how Aaron is as a spouse. Ask Lindsay, ask Dallas what I've been telling him for the last 2 years. Ask my kids how he acted in front of me. What his kids said about how he treated Heather. He's a fucking terrible boyfriend. He's an abusive, terrible boyfriend and person. And you know what? Every time someone writes in about the SPTV Foundation, every time someone writes in, he's like, what is this loser piece of shit? We're not gonna help them. He talks terribly to the people who are supposed to be helping, and he talks fucking terribly about them. Oh, you're such a loser piece of shit. You couldn't get a job and you couldn't get your feet on the ground. He's not the person he pretends to be, which is why I resigned from the foundation months ago. Because anytime I would try to talk to him about this, and anytime I would try to say, maybe we should help this person who was in Scientology half their life, he would shut me down without even listening to me or would start screaming at me.
Generous, kind, supportive boyfriend to Jenna Miscavige. Other than the bullshit that happened with Lindsay for a couple weeks.
Twice for a couple of weeks. And Lindsay attacking me online for a year. This is not meant to shade Lindsay, but he just let that happen.
I've apologized profusely for that.
No, he hasn't, you guys. He's told me that it was okay for him to cheat because he wanted to get out of the relationship, but he didn't have the balls to say it. So it was okay. His real mistake was not ending the relationship when he wanted to. Meanwhile, we were together for another year after that. So him saying, oh, it's just a technicality that I cheated. Not, I'm actually really sorry for this thing that I did to you, and that was horrible, and that was legit cheating.
Arguably the greatest mistake of my life. But it turns out that the real greatest mistake of my life has been this relationship. I tried everything that I could. I knew it wouldn't be good enough. My friends knew it wouldn't be good enough. My closest friends have been telling me for a fucking year, Aaron, this will never change. This will never get better. It's all gonna blow up eventually. I said, I know. I know. Thank you for putting up with me anyway. Thank you for supporting me and to me anyway. Hi, Marilyn.
We love you, Aaron. You know what? I've been saying the same thing to Jenna because and I get yelled at for it sometimes, but I want to see both of you be happy.
Yelled at it for it sometimes. Me and Marilyn have talked maybe 5 times ever. And I told her everything Aaron did to me last week. And she believed me, and then she spoke to him for 5 minutes, and then she changed her tune. Beat.
And the overall comments in this chat has been hugely supportive to both of you. Nobody wants to take sides. Nobody is hating, on either of you. I do corroborate a lot of what you said, but I also do love Jenna. I know neither of you are perfect, but I have told her over and over, like, listen, I want you to be happy. And unfortunately, what that means to her changes with the wind constantly. And I just had to,
And Marilyn has told me over and over again that I should leave Aaron, that she would never let her daughter date him. And she told me that she believed me. And this is what she's coming on saying for him.
I mean, you know what I told you today. I was like, if you guys get back together, I'm sorry, I love you both, but I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And I know it sounds very selfish, but it's like, my husband and I are fighting, and I'm not gonna go on my channel and start bitching about him, but it really affects the whole community. So we want to see you guys be happy and healthy, and just please stop, both of you. Oh, we love you both. We support you both, but at the same time, I know you're not lying about a lot of the details. I have proof to. I don't hold it against her for, kind of threatening people and stuff, but it's not a lie. So anyways, I'm here for you. I'm here for you both. I'm here for this community, but goddamn it.
You guys, all I sent to Marilyn was like, are you going to support him? And then she got upset. I said, are you still going to support him? And she got upset. And then I apologized to her and said, I feel bad for putting you in that position. That's what I did not threaten.
You guys gotta just hopefully be friends and not compatible.
Or whatever, just will not be possible. But it's not that I think it's not possible. It's that she says it's not possible. And I mean, this is the evidence that you're seeing. It's like, so she, you were there firsthand, seeing that after January, how she would threaten, to repost her videos about me when she wasn't getting from me what she wanted, right? You saw her using public exposure.
You guys, when Aaron begged me to come onto a live in order to show that we were fine and we were sorting things out, he went on with Marisa, and they had a big long talk about how cheating was just fine and boys will be boys and it's all okay. And I got furious and said, I can't believe I took those videos down for somebody who would do this to me. And so yes, I put them back up at that time, and then I felt bad, and then I took them down. But him acting like I'm using them to make him stay with me? What a disgusting liar. Ask Marisa. I had a conversation with her about this at the time. You guys all saw it play out live, where they were like, cheating is fine, boys will be boys, ha 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 ha. Marisa felt disgusting, and that's why she asked him to remove the videos, because she had no idea that she was making excuses for him, or that he had asked me to be in the chat, and that he was gonna do that.
As leverage to control her romantic partner, someone she claimed to love more than anything.
Well, not just January. I mean, I'll be honest. It's just the truth. It's not I'm not trying to destroy anybody or trash anybody. But over this time, I mean, I corroborate also what you said with Jenna was a freaking rock star. She kept everybody motivated, keeping your channel going while you were in jail. She raised a lot of money. She was just amazing, and she is an amazing person. When she's not having a spiral, she is.
Guys, the reason why I said I would get medicine is because Marilyn suggested it to me, and with everything I've been going through, I said, okay, maybe this will help me, because I'm so upset, I'm so fucking spiraling constantly, I'm not getting any sleep, but Aaron takes me saying that I'll get medicine as an admission that I'm insane, rather than that he's fucking driven me to this. That's where he's such a monster. Marilyn said that she has medicine, and I said that really helps her, and I said, okay, I will check that out for myself.
Oh my God, she is just so loving and beautiful and wonderful person. And she is. And I was there. I really, like, I'm the only one that doesn't, like, work full time or whatever. Like, you know, Natalie really did what she could, and Rabbit and everybody jumped in, but I'm more available. So I was more available. That kind of meant that I also was kind of dealing with Jenna's, you know, issues sometimes. And it was like, she was like, okay, can you do this? I'm like, yeah, I'm happy to do it. She's like, yay, you're weird. I went and did a thumbnail for this. The stream, it was like, I think my 8th, 9th, 10th stream that I had done. And I'm happy to do it. But like all of a sudden, that was a half hour before I went live. And she was all gung-ho as she started texting me, but what a monster you were. I'm like, wait a minute, an hour ago, he was, well, his best thing is sliced bread, you know? And then she was like, I hope you.
I did not tell her an hour ago he was the best thing since sliced bread. I didn't even talk about him. I was just in a relationship, so Marilyn's just making up that it was saying how great he was. All I was doing was trying to make money for his family and run his channel.
Or, you know, I hope you feel good about supporting an abuser. I'm like, wait, what happened? What did he do?
I'll find the text from Marilyn. I told her what was going on between us. And I called her. Actually, I called her. I was on the phone with her, and I told her how he'd been treating me over the last few days. Marilyn said she told him to de-escalate, and she said he had a different take on what happened. He said that he never yelled, and he can't yell in jail anyways. Yeah, so instead he talked to me like this on every time I talked to him, because he couldn't yell. Marilyn said I told him you weren't trying to manipulate him and you were needing some empathy, and he acknowledged that part. And I said he did yell, and she said it sounds toxic and shouldn't be happening. I think you're both better off going your separate ways. This went on. She said, do what you feel you need to do, whatever's right for you. I'm not trying to stop you or tell you what to do. And she said, I don't know what to say anymore. It wasn't until much later that I said, and you still think you can support him. And then she got upset. And then I said, you know what, I'm sorry for putting you in that position. Literally, I said that 20 minutes later. Less than 20 minutes later.
And she literally told me what you said, that you got mad at her for saying she needed to do her own content. And this went on and on, but I did the live, I was shaking. And then when I got off, she had gotten rid of a bunch of her videos, and that went back and forth, up, down, up, down. And I talked her down. I talked to her for hours and hours and hours for 2 days. And my husband was like, hello, like me and the dogs, we exist, you know? And so it was like, Jenna, I love you, but I can't
Marilyn maybe spoke to me for an hour and a half max between the 2 days.
talk for hours and hours every day. I gotta do other stuff, you know? And I gotta pee every hour. So I was like, I love you, but I just can't do this. Well, then she got talked off the ledge. She put the videos back up. The next morning, I opened my eyes. Did you take me out of StreamYard? It was just like, no, I didn't. And then she was like, Heather was the worst. It was just a total nightmare roller coaster.
The following, notice that she didn't give any specifics. She just decided it's a total nightmare roller coaster and is trying to paint me in a bad way.
The following day, everything's great again, and she was like, I can't believe you're supporting him. I was like, do you want me to not support him? What about when you guys make up?
Everything's great again, huh? But then I said, I can't believe you're supporting him. No, everything wasn't great. I was never angry at Marilyn.
You want me to support him? You want me not to support him? But I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't deal with it. So the next day she said, this was all a total misunderstanding. I love him again. Everything's great. So, I mean, I
did not say I love him again. I said, when I had spoken to Aaron again on the phone, he said, you know what, I can see that me calling you a manipulator, when all you did was ask to do your own content, and me saying that you're trying to throw everything you do for me in my face, I can see that that is cruel and wrong. He said that. And so, he said that our whole conversation was this misunderstanding, and so I went to Marilyn and said, you know what, I said this about him before. I realized it was a misunderstanding, and so I wanted to clear it up. If I say something wrong, I'm gonna tell you. Because I want to be impeccable with my word. Then, I messaged with Aaron, and I said, I appreciate you saying sorry or something like that. And he said, oh no, I wasn't sorry for that. I didn't do anything wrong at all whatsoever. It wasn't a misunderstanding. And I had just texted Marilyn, oh, I'm sorry. This was a misunderstanding. And then I was just like, you know what? I'm not even gonna text her anymore. Like, I'm not gonna reverse text her again.
I'm not trying to, because I can already hear the devil in my, in my head saying that, oh, you're supporting an abuser and you don't stick up for women. I do stick up for women. And she kept saying, you don't believe me, you don't believe me. I was like, yeah, I do believe you that he got annoyed with you and maybe he did yell at you, although I know volume-wise you couldn't yell in jail. But I was like, yeah, well, I do believe you because guys get annoyed, and my husband could be a jerk sometimes. So
yeah, it's not guys get annoyed. I told her everything. I told her about him restraining me. I told her about what happened in Hawaii. I told her everything. And just like Aaron tried to do in the past, oh, I speak loudly sometimes. Bullshit. I'm talking about screaming at the top of his lungs in my face as loud as he possibly can. Repeatedly, week after week after week. And like I said, in jail, he couldn't yell, so he's talked like this the entire time.
I don't know. So it just went back and forth, back and forth. And then when I found out she went to Clearwater, I was like, oh, this is probably not a great idea. But anyways, I said all that to say I wasn't trying to take sides, but I just got to call a spade a spade. And Aaron, I know you're not perfect. Listen, I've yelled at you. You know that. Like back in January, I was fucking pissed at you.
Can I ask you a question? This is dangerous to ask you a question. You're a slut. This is dangerous to ask you a question that you don't know an answer to, but I'm asking some, pretty sure. You have always been able to tell me exactly what you think about anything, whether you're yelling at me or not on the phone. Have I ever yelled at you on the phone? I do talk loudly, though.
When you get excited, but you don't yell, you've never yelled at me directly? No, actually, they'll like out things. Or one time,
guys, he admitted earlier in the stream that he yelled at me. I've recorded him. He yells so fucking loud. And he tries to be like, I don't really yell, or do I get loud and animated? No, you guys, I'm not talking about a little annoyedness or even him talking loudly. I'm talking about screaming at me with his whole body at the top of his lungs into my face nearly every single week.
You were the most mad. You were actually quiet.
Ha 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 ha. And
what's also fucking hilarious, look at these pieces of shit fucking gaslighting everybody, laughing as if, we should be more concerned if he's quiet. What the fuck does she know? She's not in a relationship with him. Why the fuck does it matter how many times he's yelled at her?
I was like, what's your problem? Look, you were mad at me. You're like, well, I don't appreciate it. Like, you don't appreciate it. What the fuck? So, have I yelled at you?
of course. Of course.
Yeah, look how disgusting these people are laughing right now at a time like this. Look at how gross they are, pretending like this is all fucking fun.
I yell at you all the fucking time. And in fact, Jevin was like, she told me, I'm going to the cops if he doesn't apologize.
And de-escalate for yelling at me for doing it, wanting to do my own content. So I called you. I said, can you call me? And I told you, can you apologize to her? You need to de-escalate. You were insensitive, blah, blah, blah. But the fact that she's threatening to call the cops over that.
That's when people really, because of the pumpkin pie, that's what people really need to understand. Because we're not even talking about it. He said, she said, no one knows what happens in a relationship, even though all those things are true. People need to understand, while I was in jail, Jenna threatened that if I didn't apologize enough for having gotten annoyed in a conversation, she was going to the police. Yeah. This is not a he said, she said. No, it's intact. Person does that. No normal person does that. No.
Vega's been abused over and over again, and that was just a week ago from when that happened. And it wasn't because he just acted annoyed with me in a conversation. It was at least, when I say the third time, I mean the first time he hung up on me again and again and again. The second time, it was my Thanksgiving when I sent my kids away, and he yelled at me, and then he hung up on me again and again and again. This time, I said at the beginning of the call, I need your emotional support, because you guys, I got this lawyer for Aaron. I did all the work, and Aaron was like, couldn't even wake up on time to speak to him. The only time the lawyer has available to talk is on the weekend because the rest of the time he's in court. But Aaron, the lawyer set a call for 8:30 a.m. and Aaron was like, Jesus Christ, why the fuck does he set it so early? I get up at noon. The next day, the lawyer, when he missed the call, Aaron said it, or the lawyer said it for 10:30 and he's like, Jesus Christ, I can't, why the fuck does he have to set it so early? This person has nothing else to do in jail. He's acting like it's the Ritz. All of us are scrambling, trying to do everything for this man, and he can't even get up out of bed in order to talk to the lawyer that you guys have all donated thousands of dollars for, and that I have not slept in 3 fucking weeks trying to get this done for him, and he can't even get out of bed for it.
Healthy person in a relationship threatens to report their boyfriend to the police if he doesn't apologize for having got upset in the recorded phone call we were having while he was in jail.
Because I'm looking not to report somebody who is going to change, who has empathy and takes responsibility for their actions. That incident happened 1 day before he went to jail. And no, I didn't want to report it at that time. And all I did was feel bad for his family and him and tried to do everything I could to support him. And then he just fucking treated me worse and worse and worse. He even asked me to reach out to friends of inmates whose name were things like Chop and wanted me to pretend to be someone else. He didn't give a shit about putting me in danger. He didn't give a shit about how hard I was working. He could have been coordinating content with everyone, but he wasn't doing anything. He was just in there watching Jesus movies and watching me drown and then hanging up on me when I fucking needed him the most.
That's a very specific type and level and intensity of a thing. And that thing, whatever it is, that makes her think that is acceptable, has been there our entire relationship. It didn't just happen when I was in jail.
It is acceptable to report someone to the police when they batter you and they use and it's domestic violence and they falsely imprison you. And as you guys all know, I have been through this with Scientology, and I've put up with it for years and years and years. When we're in the car and he's angry, he drives fucking crazy, he yells at me at bars and the beach. For me doing everything for this man and his family, and not even making my own money that I need to make, putting everything aside for him, and seeing how he treats me during that time, how disgusting he is towards me, I thought, you know what? Why am I protecting him? Why should I let him get away with this? He is literally in jail for a misdemeanor, for battering somebody else. This is a pattern for him.
Yeah. And so, you know, one of the reasons, I mean, let us be honest, Scientology wins today, folks. Scientology has now won today. The whole ex-Scientology community and the greater internet hemorrhoid community is now going to be talking about nothing more than Aaron and Jenna's breakup drama, because Jenna has always said she doesn't care. She'll burn it all to the ground. She didn't want to be doing any of this anyway.
Guys, who started this video? Who made a video about this? Aaron did.
She only started doing it because I got her to be doing it. And she's always said that if we broke up, she wouldn't be able to be on the internet anyway, because she'd see me every day and she'd be so sad or whatever. So it's like
he takes something that I said 2 years ago when I was too afraid to go on my YouTube channel, and he uses it now because he's a disgusting manipulator and he wants to control the narrative, and he takes things completely out of context over and over again.
Like, this is just Jenna doing what Jenna has always said that she was gonna do. I will burn it all to the ground. I will burn myself down as long as I can burn you down with me. And that is why I said, you know what? I'm sorry.
I won't burn myself down. I'll be fine.
I'm protecting myself. I'm protecting myself by putting the truth out there. I didn't want any of this out there. That's why I didn't even respond to videos that Jenna did in January. I didn't even respond.
Well, I remember you got mad at me and
He did respond. He put out a disgusting response and got trashed in the comments. And everyone who watched it saw how unapologetic he was and how in that video, he said that I was threatening him and that's why he stayed in the relationship. He did do a video. He just got trashed for how horrible he was in it. And then he took it down and hid it.
Another friend of yours, or you know who I'm talking about, for saying you guys need to break up and stay away from each other. And I told you that, and I told Jenna that. And at one point you were just like, well, if I want to get back to her, it's my business, not okay. But you came to me and said how miserable and horrible and toxic and terrible this was. You lost 10,000 in subscribers. Not that that really matters in the scheme of things, but it was, it was definitely one of those things where it's like, I don't care. Like there's a fine line between, you ever see like War of the Roses? Any of those shows, Fatal Attraction, whatever. It's like, it just gets to the point where I don't care. Like I will kill that I will burn down their life as long as I can't have them, and that is not healthy. So, I mean, here we are almost a full year later, and you both have learned that, this isn't worth it, unfortunately. You each are worth it as far as you taking care of yourself, and this is not good for either of you. And I care about her too. It's not.
I could leave too. And more recently, when we would have arguments that were leading to breakups, I chose to take a different tact in how I communicated to Jenna why I didn't want to be in a relationship. Because I realized it doesn't work and no one can be expected to receive it well when the reasons you're giving are negative things about the person you're talking to, right? And so instead I was like, here's what it comes down to, Jenna. I'm unhappy. I want to be happy. The relationship is making me unhappy. So I focused on me instead of her. And I said, I don't care if I'm the one to blame for all of it. I'm not trying to point the finger. I'm not saying you're the only problem.
I'm not saying constantly pointing the finger. Constantly. He's literally maybe said this once, and it was the last time. And I said, okay, great. We're done. I'm coming to Clearwater to say goodbye to my friends. I'm not going to come to court. I'm not going to say anything bad about you. He twists everything. He twists the timeline on everything.
Of course you're not. The world doesn't even work that way. What I'm saying is, I'm fucking miserable in this relationship, and I don't want to keep doing it. And then here's how it would spiral. She would go, but some of it's your fault. And I'd be like, of course it is. And then she goes, but if some of it's your fault, then you should be willing to address that in order to save the relationship. If you quit the relationship, that's you saying it's all my fault. And this is why I can never win. This is why I can never wrap up a conversation in a productive way. Because I'm trying to say, Jenna, I'm miserable. And even if
you can't wrap up a conversation in a productive way, because if I say anything like, well, that's not really true, that's not really fair, you say, shut the fuck up or I'm walking out. Like, I can't even have a conversation where he's not either yelling at me or saying, shut the fuck up, I'm gonna walk out. And I don't deserve that. I deserve better than that.
Even if everything that's making me miserable is my fault, I can only do what I can do. I can't do this relationship anymore, okay? Because here's kind of how it would go. This is sort of how it worked today when we were talking in the motel.
So you're saying it's a failure, like you're admitting failure, or you're saying you don't want to change. You don't want to make the relationship work.
That's what she's saying, I'm saying. Right, yeah, right. And so one point that I got to in the motel today was,
guys, if somebody can please screen record for me the part where he admits to restraining me, how he held me like that. If you could please record it and send it to me immediately, I would really appreciate it. You can email me at jenna@ex-scientologykids.com. Please screen record it before he takes it down. Please do this right away. Thank you.
Was me basically saying, I'm miserable, and whether I think it's your fault or not, it's because of these things that you're doing. And then she's like, but I only do those things because the things you do make me do those things. And I go, it doesn't matter if the reason you're doing the things that are making me unhappy. I get to choose to not be unhappy anymore. I get
to leave the religion. He does get to choose, and that's why I was not going to come to court, and that's why I did not reach out to him at all since I've been here. It was him who came over here to get me. Him who asked me to come over.
To choose to leave the relationship. You don't get to choose the terms under which I have satisfied all requirements in order to leave the relationship. And we've had this version of this conversation a dozen times.
I know, I feel weird having like 3,000 people watching, because like we've talked about this behind the scenes. Like, I want you both to be happy, and you're not. Neither of you are.
Yeah, every time it comes to the point where she seems like it's the, I'm finally gonna stick to it. She's like, I've wasted 2 years of my life. And I'm like, we both just had 20-year marriages. You left your marriage. Your husband did not divorce you. You divorced him after 20 years. Why are you who else has put 2 years into this relationship? Me. And I'm miserable.
Well, that's why we don't leave cults, because the equity rescue or the some cost, what do they call it? Some costs, fallacy, almost fallacy. Yeah, because it's like, oh, I put so much into it, but listen, you're not happy. Neither of you are.
And so I've even said to Jenna, how about this? Because you're like, you're an abuser, you're an abuser, you're an abuser. I'm like, Jenna, I'm not the one asking you to stay with me.
That's what Aaron always says, that if I'm such an abuser, then why don't you leave? Well, I have left. I have broken up with him multiple fucking times, as anybody in my life knows. But that's not how it works. People don't leave abusive relationships for a reason. And it's because people breadcrumb you, and they convince you that it's your fault. So I wind up apologizing for what happened. All the time. He never apologizes. And then I regret apologizing, and then I take it back, and then I try to put everything on me because he'll never change, and I've done it over and over and over again. Just because somebody doesn't leave doesn't mean that they're not being abused. And by his same logic, why didn't he leave?
I'm not even asking you to stay with me. In fact, I'm telling you, I want to go. How can you keep saying, I'm abusing you, I'm abusing you, I'm abusing you, but you're the one who's having an emotional meltdown when I say, I can't take this anymore? And she goes, that's the cycle of abuse. People stay with their abusers. And I go, yeah, but I think usually the abuser's trying to get them to stay. I'm saying no more. You're the one abusing me. I'm done.
Well, how about it's nobody's fault? You just need to part ways. And the thing is, Aaron, I'm going to tell you something right now, okay? It's what I would tell you if we were on the phone together. Do not put yourself into positions where anybody, especially somebody that has, kind of gone public and said, what you say are lies, which I know a lot of it is, and maybe some of it isn't, but I know you didn't lay your hand on her today. And I'm just saying, stop going to hotel rooms, even with your soon-to-be ex-girlfriend or your newly ex-girlfriend. Don't put yourself in those positions. It's not good. I know. Stop it.
She's gonna say, I never threatened to harm myself. When you look at her text messages, begging, pleading, I'm not okay. She had one time we were having an argument, she told me, after I got off the phone and hung up on her, she smashed the whole giant mirror in her bathroom. It got to the point where I called Dallas.
A lying piece of shit. I slammed the door and the mirror fell off and smashed.
I haven't spoken to Dallas. I hadn't spoken to Dallas since 25 years. I called Dallas and I said, Dallas, listen. I think Jenna is a threat to herself, and I'm telling you because she's the mother of your children. And I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I didn't tell you what was happening. And I said, by the way, I don't know what you've heard, but I've tried to break up with Jenna a dozen times, and she won't let me, okay?
He's talking about a dozen times over 2 years. I've also broken up with him a million times, and he's begged me to come back. When Dallas got this message from Aaron, he was completely disgusted and sent it straight to me and told me, just like he's telling me right now, that this guy is a piece of shit. And he's just fucking using you, and it's just toxic. Our kids hate him. His kids don't even fucking like him. Get away from him. Dallas would never have believed anything that Aaron said for 1 second, because Dallas would never treat me how Aaron has treated me. And I have never done anything like that to Dallas.
I just want you to know that. I just want you to know, And it's like, it's easy to say, don't go. It's easy to say, don't go. And I know your advice comes from a good place. But it's like, when what she's saying is communicating to me, I'm incapable of regulating myself. And if you love me, this is what I need from you. It's impossible for me to say no. Now, don't get me wrong. After this morning, it's totally impossible for me to say no. Yeah. But it's impossible. I mean, I care for Jenna.
Well, maybe you should have sent somebody, but not yourself. Oh no, that we weren't. Oh my God, no. I mean, like a crisis team or something. If somebody, like, I'm just saying, like, if you really think she's gonna harm herself, you're not even qualified to stop that. You're not responsible to stop.
I have never once texted Aaron that if you don't come here, whatever, I will do this to myself. Never once. I've said, I'm in a lot of pain. I need help. I feel abandoned. I need help. This is times when we're together. This is times that we're perfectly fine together. And he has said no and ghosted me for as long as a week. I have never used it as a threat towards him. I'm allowed to tell the person that I'm in a relationship with for 2 years that I'm hitting rock bottom and that I'm not doing well. Him acting like me saying that is a manipulation is so gross. It's so abusive. It's literally taking somebody who's at their lowest and then using that to hurt them. He has said over and over again, look, if you feel like hurting yourself, he doesn't say this about me, he says it about other people, then just do it. So he's basically saying that he doesn't believe you unless you do it, and then it's too late.
Stop that, you know?
Right. That's true. But I'll tell you, do you want to know why I don't? And maybe it's just these things of being afraid of consequences that you don't know, you shouldn't be afraid of them. Because once you experience them, you realize it wasn't that bad. Kind of like going to jail, you realize it really wasn't that bad. Do you know when I said 2 weeks ago to Jenna, or 3 weeks ago, I said, you're leaving the house or I'm calling the police. I never would have called the police no matter what she did. I am not having a police report on file with me calling the police on Jenna Miscavige. Yeah, I hear ya. So I guess the question begs the question, did Jenna call the police on me this morning? I believe her that she did. She'll burn it all to the ground.
I did, because I never abused Aaron. He abused me. He restrained me. He falsely imprisoned me, and it's domestic violence, and I called the police. And I've told many friends about this exact incident. I called my friend at the time and told her what was happening. Oh.
I'm not willing to burn it all to the ground. This is not my effort to burn anything to the ground. This is my effort to protect myself against someone who has threatened to ruin my life until I want to kill myself so that I will experience the same pain she experiences when I hang up the phone on her.
No. I've never said I want him to experience the same pain as when he hangs up on the phone with me. It's when he fucks somebody else behind my back repeatedly, and I learn about it through the internet. And then when I come to the pre-arranged gathering we're supposed to go to, and instead of him apologizing to me, he live streams me, and then he gets Heather to be on the live stream all weekend so he can show what a nice guy he is. I don't even remember what I was saying.
I'm not willing to burn it all to the ground. And so I guess it remains to be seen. Is this burning it all to the ground? I don't think so. But here's what it is doing, and this is what my mutual friends, my and Jenna's mutual friends, have tried to get her to see. Jenna, this is only going to hurt you. It is not going to hurt Aaron. Sure, he'll take a glancing shot. This is not going to hurt Aaron, Jenna. This is going to hurt you. And you need to get this under control. And I have the messages in writing from her saying, I'm going to see someone that I can get medicine to help me with this. She knows she has a problem.
No, I don't know I have a problem. I know that I was being abused, and Marilyn said I should get medicine. And so I felt like, okay, I'm gonna take responsibility on this myself. This is the most disgusting thing anybody could ever do. This is so fucking horrible. Me apologizing as somebody who he's been abusing and screaming at and ghosting and hanging up on over and over again, feeling this constant fear of abandonment and actually being abandoned. Him saying that I'm gonna take medicine because of how fucking horrible I feel all the time. Like I said in my video, waking up every day crying. him using that against me as if it gives him some sort of credibility or credence to anything he's saying is so gross. And it just shows that all he was doing with all my messages was tabulating them so that he could use them against me.
She knows she has a problem. None of this should be interpreted as me saying anything is all Jenna's fault. Of course it isn't. It just gets to the point where it doesn't matter whose fault it is.
Well, no matter whose fault it is. One person is a physical and mental abuser over and over again, and saying, I'll get divorced, never gets divorced, cheats multiple times, doesn't even tell you, won't even say he's sorry, and then screams at your face constantly, drives like a maniac every time he's mad at you in the car, and then ghosts you over and over and over again, and says that you're a bitch because he won't come out to see you, and now you only get to come out and see him. There is one person who's at fault, and it's him, and I've done everything I can to save his reputation and walk back the things I said about him in the past, but you guys all fucking knew that they were true at the time. I knew exactly what I was doing, trying to take responsibility on myself, because that's what a nice person tries to do. A nice person actually looks in on themselves and sees what they did wrong. Aaron never, ever does that. He just crushes the person in front of him who's doing everything for him, who loves him, and he just crushes them and uses that love to fucking hurt them even more.
All I wanted was to stop being unhappy, and I have that right. Yeah.
You do have that right, and nobody has ever taken it away whatsoever. He called me and wanted me to come over. I did not reach out to him at all.
You know, I never once said, Jenna, please stay with me. Jenna, can we get back together? Like, never once.
That's an absolute liar. He's told me that the relationship means the world to him. Please stay with him. I have the messages.
So even after she published those 3 videos about me in January, that was the closest I've ever had to a mental breakdown. And she still wanted to get back together. And I said, we couldn't possibly get back together. You literally said in your video that the reason you were doing your video is so that we would never get back together.
So she would hold herself accountable and not go back on what she was saying, yeah.
Jenna, you're already painting a picture that I am abusive and controlling to you. And you just did a video saying you did this so that you would never go back to me. If we ever got back together, people would just assume that I am the one forcing, blaming, and shaming and controlling you to stay with me, when it's really the other way around. And she said, you could make this better if you wanted to. And I said, well, I don't want to, but what are you talking about? You could publicly apologize to me so that I could accept your apology so that we could get back together. I said, you're fucking insane. How don't we act together?
Wait a minute, you did apologize for going up with Lindsay. How? What? I mean, yeah, you kind of did. You were like, I regret that. It was stupid to do. I mean, or at least I told you it was stupid to do when you...
And I know I eventually said something in some way, but it was her being there, like, I had to hurt you this way so that I could live with myself when I got back together with you. If I didn't, even after we made up and got back together and we're happy and we're out, drinking at a bar, she said, I wouldn't have been able to live with myself getting back together with you unless I did those videos, and that's why I needed to do them. She did the videos knowing she wanted to stay with me, but that's the only way she could save face. This is how sick and toxic and manipulative and destructive this relationship, the foundation of this relationship has been for the last year. And it's just a fact, and it's just a fact. And, I just have so much more to look forward to in life, personally, professionally, family related. I'm done having this relationship control me. I'm done fearing Jenna Miscavige, using her platform and her name to try to publicly humiliate and blame and shame me. She's always said, they'll believe me. They'll believe me. I won't let you get away with this. Get away with what? Not wanting to fight with you? Not wanting to keep arguing? Not wanting to continue to be with you? you know? And so anyway, this is what it needed. This is ripping off the Band-Aid. There is no going back. And I will also never stop doing what I'm doing here on YouTube. Jenna has said she will dedicate, she's told me before we were in a fight, I will dedicate every day for the rest of my life doing videos about you on the internet until you want to kill yourself. So you will experience the pain that you cause me to feel. I don't care. I'm here for it. I've said what I've needed to say. The truth is out there. We'll see how dedicated she is to her campaign to make me want to kill myself. But I'm not that mentally weak, and it's almost impossible to get me down, honestly. The videos she put up about me in January were the goddamn closest I have ever been to that. And I know what that feels like, and she's already doing it right now, and that's okay. The last time she did this, I kept my mouth shut. That was a year ago. She's doing it now. I'm not keeping my mouth shut. Everything I had to say, I have just said. I'm not saying, depending on what she does, will depend on whether I have anything else to say about this in the future or not. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm here for one thing. I'm here to be David Miscavige and Scientology's worst fucking nightmare, okay? And I will not be distracted off of that, at least, maybe a little here, a little there, but for the most part, I will not be distracted off of that. I will not be deterred, and this changes nothing.
Well, as a woman, I hate when I say that, but it is true. I understand one thing that she keeps saying, to me and other people, I'm sure, is that when she is coming from that place, where she just kind of damn the torpedoes and scorched earth, she feels in that moment, that's exactly how she feels. No other way. She's not doing it like, I don't think she's coming, not excusing it, but I'm just saying, she's not coming from a place of, okay, I'm really gonna stick at Tom and I destroy his life right now. It's like she doesn't care what the consequences are to you or herself at the moment, but she feels so strongly. And that's, something we talked about, and I don't know, she might get mad at me for saying this, but I told her that, I've been on medication. I'm not saying it in a bad way, like, you need medication or you need therapy. I've had it. And I know I've been through I've watched my whole fucking family burn to death in a fire feet from me. So, we all got things. And this does, I might actually get rid of my nonprofit because, we've had 4 fatalities this year. And so I know what it's like to re-traumatize yourself. So, guys, it's not us against them. It's not we hate Jenna or where I'm team, Aaron, or I'm team Jenna. I was team Jen Ron for the longest time. And I still will be, even separately. I love you both, And we're here to fight fucking Scientology. There's so much stuff I want to delve into. There's a new Tampa Bay article that came out, I think, right before Thanksgiving. And it's all about Trish Duggar and all of her ways that she has kept the scales with lobbying and financial, giving and all that. Millions and millions of dollars. Those are the things we need to concentrate on. And listen, I want you both to heal. And I hate that it has to be out in the open. Now it's like, it's just so cringe and it's so awful. But I was dragged into this, kicking and screaming, and not by you, Aaron. By Jenna. I love her to pieces, but I don't want to be here. It's the last thing I wanted to fucking do today. But I'm here to support in any way I can. But can we please move on? We've got a cult to fight. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Back in January, when Jenna posted those videos about me and Lindsay, the reason my friends stayed out of it is because they knew the truth. And they also knew that trying to put that out there would just be viewed as an attack and would just make things worse. And Jenna pretty quickly reversed course and apologized to everyone, and things sort of moved on here. The people who know the truth about this are not just going to sit back and keep quiet and say it's their business, while Jenna tries to publicly lie about and vilify and destroy a good person who they know to be a good person and who they know has been dealing with this shit for a year or more. And that's one of the things about, Jenna not caring about consequences. It's like this throws a grenade in the entire community. Doesn't care. Doesn't care. It's all about Jenna getting what Jenna wants, being in a relationship with me. And that'll be my final words on it. And, I wish nothing but the best for Jenna. In every way. I want her to be happy. Every time she said how unhappy I make her, I've always been like, Jenna, if I make you that unhappy, you need to be in a better relationship. I don't want you to be unhappy. I don't want your unhappiness to be making me unhappy. And then she'd be like, so every time I come to you, you basically say I have to suck it up or leave. My God, everything gets twisted. Everything gets twisted. I want Jenna to be happy. I wish her no ill will. I have no desire to be in some war with Jenna Miscavige. When I'm 2 days out of jail, and Jenna was threatening to keep me in jail for as long as possible while I was in jail, and then this morning she said she was going to call the police and file a domestic battery report against me so that I'll get arrested and held in jail. I had no fucking choice but to put the truth out there. For my own safety, that's the only reason I did it. As far as I'm concerned, everything I had to say, I have said.
I'm saying again, like you said about your friends, which I assume I'm one of them, or you're talking about. I will release, if the cops ask me, I will release the receipts. I don't want to, and I don't want this to escalate. I don't want you to go back to jail, but what the fuck? I'm gonna tell the truth. And that's the truth, that she was threatening to file basically false charges if I didn't get you to apologize and all the shit. It was just crazy. So I was like, can you please apologize and de-escalate, because I don't want this to happen, yeah? And it's in writing. And there's other threats too that she's made to other people that are in writing. So yeah, it really not gonna work. I'm gonna work.
All right. Thank you for helping with this, Marilyn. And well, let's see what happens.
Hey everybody. All right, bye.
She know how to say yes, daddy. Good girl, she know how to make a man happy. She a short queen, but she get a little scrappy. Watch out for this girl, she a little nasty.